Good morning. Good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to the show. I am Coach Renz, and welcome to Deconstructing Christianity. Looking forward to today's show. Starting out a little late because I spilled water all over the place, so I had to clean it up. But welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a great weekend with me and my bride. Getting the tickety talk set up right now. Went to the gala and had a gala of a time. You know how a gay old time, that what Fred Flintstone said. Good weekend, good weekend. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We're 2 weekends away from meeting here in San Antonio, October 31st through November 2nd. We're gonna have a great time when you guys get here too. I shall have recovered from this weekend by the time we get 2 weekends away. But ain't no telling what might happen this coming weekend. So we are back this week. We go live every Monday through Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. If you find this channel for the first time, what we do here is we go live at 12 noon. We're going to end probably around 3:30. Something like that. Anywho, on this show, this is a Deconstructing Christianity show. We do allow people to come on and talk, but it's going to be about 15 minutes before people come on. First, we go through my whole spiel about why Jesus, in today's one, is why Jesus is not the Messiah, nor is he God. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes here, and then I'll put the links out for people to be able to join the live stream if they so choose. But it won't be the very beginning. So TikTokers have this thing about jumping on there real quick, want to get on as soon as they see a topic, but we don't do that around these parts. So let me get my cigar lit and we shall get started. I used to wait about 5 minutes to get started, but Now, as you see, there are rules to the show. When I do let people get on, there are rules to the show. If you can't follow the rules, don't come on the show. It's quite simple. So today's conversation is going to be about the fact that Jesus was not the Jewish Messiah. He didn't fulfill not one aspect of being the Jewish Messiah. And half of the things that people say are, well, this is a prophecy of Jesus. It was not a prophecy at all. It's just merely a statement. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. But most of the things they get incorrect. So like, for instance, Isaiah 53, I believe it is 53. Or is it Isaiah 7? Now, I'm telling you, I had a good weekend. Where they claim that the virgin birth was prophesied. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is not at all a prophecy of Jesus' birth. Cut this cigar a little funny. Not a prophecy at all. Doesn't say anything about a virgin giving birth. It actually just talks about a young woman who is going to give birth during the time frame of King Hazaz. It has absolutely nothing to do with, that's Isaiah 7. Isaiah 53 is my other one. So let's get this straight. Like I said, it's been a weekend. So one of the first things that many Christians run to say that Jesus was a Jewish Messiah is Isaiah 7. They also go to Isaiah 53. So we're going to tackle both of those real quick. I'm going to leave some of the other things, but when somebody try to come up here and talk about other aspects of it. But what they don't understand is that when you read Isaiah 7, you see that Isaiah 7 is talking about Isaiah coming to reassure King Ahaz, or Ahaz. I don't know why I always call him Ahaz and put an extra Z in there, but King Ahaz. He's coming to reassure him, to let him know everything's going to be all right, guy. Don't worry about it. Because he got like 4 kings who are trying to attack him. And although the king is like, I don't want to tempt God. I don't want to ask for a sign. This, he said, nah, I'm gonna give you a sign anyway. So when you get to around verse 14, it says, therefore, look, himself will give you a sign. Look, a young woman is with child and shall bear a son, and his name, and shall name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey by the time he knows how to refuse good and evil, how to refuse evil and choose good. For before the child knows how to refuse evil and choose good, the land before whose two kings you are in dread will be deserted. So he's literally giving him a prophecy that there is a woman who is with a child right now. Not later, not a virgin, but she's a young woman, an Alma. This got translated into the Greek as virgin, which would have been the word Bethula, but it's the Alma, a young woman, and that she is with child. And before that child knows how to choose good over evil, the King Ahaz will have defeated his enemies. The land will be deserted. This ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. Has nothing to do with the virgin birth. So anytime somebody throws this one out, it just shows me that they, one, are most likely reading a bad translation, which most of the time that would be like your King James or your NIVs or your Living Bibles. They haven't actually read a Bible that has been updated to be more accurate, to give a more accurate translation of the information. So for it to say virgin, if it says virgin there, your Bible verse virgin is off. It should say young woman. And it talks about she has, not will be, but she has. Because even if it was a virgin, even if it was, she will, a young woman will become pregnant. It still wouldn't matter, since this is talking about the time frame that King Ahaz will defeat his enemies. She could have been a virgin. The baby may not have been born yet. It still wouldn't matter. It just means that he's gonna have to wait longer for the virgin to have the baby, so that he can then defeat the enemies by the time the child learns the difference between good, learns how to refuse evil and choose good. It still wouldn't matter. And it still wouldn't be about Jesus. But as it would be, this was a young woman who already was with child. And she's the child, before the child knows to refuse evil, this king will win. Now, often other times, they like to go to Isaiah 53 and say that this is the suffering servant, and the suffering servant is Jesus. But if you read it in context of Isaiah, and you would have to go back to, at minimum, go to Isaiah 52, but I would suggest going all the way back to Isaiah 51, because then there is no doubt, if you start reading it at least from Isaiah 51, you will know that it is not about, that this whole thing is not about a coming Messiah. Especially if you really, really, really want to know, go to Isaiah 50 and start from there. And it will demonstrate to you from Isaiah 50 all the way through Isaiah 53 that the suffering servant in Isaiah 53 is Israel. It is Israel redemption after being released from the Babylonian captivity. Only church people and apologetics try to say that this is a prophecy about Jesus. Every other linguistic scholar, biblical scholar, will tell you that this is about the suffering servant, that the suffering servant is about the children of Israel, the redemption of the Israelites after the Babylonian captivity. And when you put it in context with the history, this is being written after the decree had been given by Cyrus for them to return back to Jerusalem after the Persians conquered, after Darius had conquered the Persians, and Cyrus is giving them permission to go back and rebuild Jerusalem and return to their homelands. So this is not even really a prophecy, because it's written after the fact. Scholars will also demonstrate how this passage and the major portion of the last parts of Isaiah are all written after the Babylonian exile had ended. So it ain't about Jesus, it's about the Israelites. And like Jesus never fulfilled any of the prophecies. And there's one last one that I'm gonna say before I pay attention to comments and stuff. I want to give y'all some room. I want to give y'all some room to be able to make your own comments, because we can also talk about the knowledge of Jesus and how Jesus was unaware or misquote the Bible or unaware of certain things. Because if you saw a video I did over the weekend, I talked about the fact that Jesus seemed to be unaware of how the different time frames of the religion, the beliefs of the religion, were written down. So when you look at the fact that in Genesis 1, in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, and you look at it from the perspective of the time frame of when it was written and what those people believed at that time frame, as the Israelites went from polytheistic when they first left the Canaanites to henotheistic and then into monotheism, during their Genesis 1 is written during their polytheistic time frame. This is why the Elohim are building and creating. The Elohim builds man, and then Yahweh is the one who builds and creates his Adam and Eve story. You can see it from that perspective. But the main way the reason why we reach back to that is because in Deuteronomy, I believe it's Deuteronomy 22, where El Elyon gives a portion of people to all the different gods, and then to Yahweh is given the Israelites. So this is at a time frame where the Israelites worship El Elyon and they worship Yahweh as their individual God for just their people. Then they become henotheistic, where they reckon, and so they were polytheistic and then become henotheistic, where they also recognize the godhood of the God of everybody else. It's just not their God because they were not given that portion. It is not until we get to after the Babylonian captivity that they then completely merge Yahweh and El into one God without his wife Asherah, and then they become monotheistic as they had learned it from the Zoroastrians. So by the time Jesus, which is 400 years later, is supposedly walking and talking, they're already in a monotheistic mindset. So when he says, is it not written that ye are gods, and relating back to the Psalms, where it says that Psalms is relating to not the judges, not the men, but the fact of the divine counsel that you saw in Job, the divine counsel that you see in Genesis, the separation with the divine counsel that you see in Deuteronomy 22. So Jesus can't be God because Jesus should have known about that. He should have known of that progression. And the men, and it wasn't the men who were being talked about as gods in Psalms 82. It was El Elyon telling the little gods, y'all better get y'all shit together or you're going to die as men. So when people say that we are gods because Jesus quotes Psalms and Psalms said it, it's not talking about humans. This is those people believing in their divine counsels. This is those people believing in their polytheistic format. So a chief god and then multiple underling gods. So, oh, and Jeremiah 33, I'm going to save that one for when somebody tries to tell me that Jesus was Messiah. Because he didn't fulfill shit. And if he was the Messiah, he didn't get it done. He didn't get it done, right? The Torah predicts Jesus' birth, death, and resurrection. He is the Messiah. It predicts nothing at all. Those are just comments with nothing to back it up with. Just comments. Let me see who's on. How you guys doing? Hello, Debbie. How's my people doing? Well, so that's going to be the conversation for today, the topic of today. The fact that there's absolutely zero proof that this Jesus ever was a Messiah, is God, for one. There's zero proof that this God even exists. Then it's existed in multiple forms, from the polytheistic to the henotheistic, and it wasn't until they were under Persian control that they became monotheistic. Let's see what we got today. Joseph.
Hello, brother.
Hello, how you doing? Are you over 21?
I'm sorry?
Are you over 21?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you a believer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But there's a difference between believing and knowing. And so I know the place that you're from cannot be taken away from you. Like the place you were born, this fact cannot be taken away from you. But it doesn't matter that you were born there, because people in other countries know this fact too. Can't take it away. And I don't know if they're here yet, but your kids know this fact too, right? But they're not here yet though, right? And this fact is before my time, right? Before your time, right? And before the world's time, right? And this fact that you can never, ever, ever get rid of.
Okay, man, get to the point. You're going in a big ass circle forever.
Yeah. This fact that you can never get rid of is the Holy Spirit. And Jesus said,
that is not a fact.
Truly, I tell you.
Stop. That is not a fact, and I'm not going to let you preach, but that is not a fact. There is no facts that demonstrates the Holy Spirit. Can you measure it? Can you observe it? Can you test it scientifically?
Before Abraham was.
Can you measure it? Can you prove it? No, preach. Don't preach.
You can't say you're from Earth without saying, I am from Earth.
That is not proof of nothing.
And that's how you know.
That's not how you know. That's faith.
You know.
That's just faith, my guy. Faith is nothing. Faith means nothing. Faith means you don't have facts. So basically what you're saying, you don't have any facts. This is just your faith. So you don't actually know, you just believe. So if you didn't know, now you know. Funny guy.
This ain't even lyrics.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Funny.
It doesn't matter, because you coming on here trying to be funny. You come on here, you're trying to preach. I ask you for facts, and then you don't have any. You go into a big ass circle instead of cutting a straight line. So if you don't have any, just say you don't have facts. I mean, if you have a belief, that's fine. Believe whatever you want to believe. Everybody can believe whatever they want to believe. But facts is what I'm asking for. If you cannot deliver them, then just say you can't. It's plain and simple.
You can't take this away from me.
I don't care to. It's not my thought to take it away from you. You came onto this live.
Take this away from you.
You came on this live, so I don't want to take anything from you. You came here.
And he told me.
He tell you shit. He tell you.
Everybody like he has loved me.
Yeah. I got the rules sitting right up there on the screen. I don't care about your testimony. I don't care about none of that dumb shit. That stuff means nothing. If you don't have any facts, then keep it to yourself. It amazes me how Christians do that. I'm gonna come on the show and I want to say some stupid stuff. Doc, what is it, Shark?
Oh, yes, it is.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Are you over 21?
Yes, I am over 21.
Are you a believer?
Well, no, I'm not a believer. I'm a knower.
Oh my gosh. So you can prove that this God exists through scientific methods?
Yeah, but for science came afterwards. He came first.
Can't prove it.
So-
How can you prove that?
So can I prove that there is a God that people say they see, they haven't seen him, but they say he exists, right? That's what you're saying, right? So how can we prove that God really exists?
I don't know. You're the one who say you're a knower. So if you know something, then you have the ability to prove that which you know.
That is the truth. Clearly, from the things that we see, such as the sun, the moon, the ocean. These are proof of his existence.
That's proof of nature.
Because
That's proof of nature. That doesn't prove intelligent design.
well, it doesn't prove intelligent design.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that the degrees that the sun is from the earth is a perfect degrees for life on earth? Do you understand that?
Do you understand? Yes, and do you understand? And that is not proof.
Okay, do you understand that that's a perfect, where the sun is perfectly put for our existence. But do we need stars to exist? And the answer is no.
Our sun is a star, so yes, we do.
Oh no, I said stars.
You mean the additional stars?
Hold up. I spoke about the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said, do we need stars with an S?
And
the answer is no. We do need a star.
What does that matter?
The sun.
What does that matter?
But we do not need stars with an S.
Okay.
But where the earth is situated,
mm-hmm.
It is a beautiful starry, we can have a beautiful starry sky, so that when we look up, not at night, we can enjoy looking up and actually spend our life studying and still never understand what we actually looking up at.
So,
stop.
No, stop. No, you hold on, bro. Excuse me. Do you not see the rules of this show? Do you not see the rules of this show? The rules of this show say that I can interrupt, but you cannot. So don't try to tell me how the show is going to run, okay? Because I'm not going to let you pontificate for 15 minutes and then come back to something that you was going to say earlier when there's a point that I'm going to make. So don't think you have autonomy nor authority on here. See, and now he's running. He ran from the show. Because the thing that I was going to ask him is, since he's pinpointing that, oh, the earth is in such a perfect spot in the habitable zone, but the problem is the earth hasn't always been in the habitable zone. That's one. But then two, we have discovered over 400 other planets that are in habitable zones that have the same elements that we have here on Earth, meaning the main one being water. So that means that there are 400 other perfectly placed planets for people to live on that can sustain life. So then that invalidates we are so perfectly aligned. But then he ran. What is wrong with these people think that, oh, I can say you gonna listen to me and I'm gonna say what I want to say. I don't care. What up?
Well, listen here. I got something to say and you're gonna effing listen.
Yes, sir. What do you have to say?
So I've got those dimensions for you. You were just asking about getting definitive dimensions to prove the existence. Your definitive dimensions can be figured out by a simple math equation. Pi r to the square root of delusion.
Doesn't that equal insanity?
Well, you could call it religiosity as well as insanity, because both can be put in the same hand and meet together, much like a breeding pair.
Not with you. Yes, but anyway.
As far as your proof, that's how you people get your proof. Okay, so come up with that math equation, and I will come up and I will correct your incorrect mathematics.
They don't have any mathematics. All they have is their little feelings, and I don't know what this I know.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Did I say math? I meant mathematics.
That would work better.
A slip of the tongue,
It happens from time to time.
And as far as do we need the stars to exist? Obviously, that gentleman did not actually read his book, because I'm pretty sure it says in Job, that book where God was gambling against his creation.
Yeah.
That book, I'm pretty sure God is talking to Job and he says, do you know where Tahuti or the ibis got its wisdom? No, you don't. Were you there when I set forth the Mazzaroth? What is the Mazzaroth? Oh, wait, that's the stars. So by your own Bible, you're on some bullshit. By reality, you're still on some bullshit. So just to clarify that mathematical uh, misconceptions, gotta fix these foolish Christians. My forefathers did it the right way with an axe. We can't do that today. So, anyways.
Anyway, I gotta let you go because you're gonna get me kicked because you're
Much love. I'll catch you on the flip.
Yeah, when you're not doing the thing you're doing right now. Don't turn your camera on. Clear your seat, you driving. And once I recognized he was driving, I had to get him off. Oh my gosh, is this how we're gonna do this today? That they can't handle a conversation. They don't know how to be on someone's show and think that they have authority on these shows and just going to say whatever the hell they want to say and try to over talk and loud talk me. No. And then they run, of course, because they're little whiny babies, or as I like to call them, and the other side of me will say they're little bitch babies. Because if you are a grown man and you sit up there and you're gonna come on somebody's show, and because you can't loud talk me, you're gonna run. I don't usually use those terminologies, but I sure as hell will for that joker. So, yeah, so we have found over 400 different planets that are in the habitable zone of their star, which means that if we were able to get to those planets, we don't have the technology to get there, but we do have the technology to view them at a very, certain degrees of viewership of them. If we were able to get there, then we would be able, paths, yep, stayed up path, then we would be able to live on those planets. But it's most likely that there is already life on some of those 400 planets that are in the habitable zone of their star. And one of the planets is like 400 times bigger than the Earth. So this whole idea that Earth is such a unique place is laughable, incredibly laughable. The Earth is unique in comparison to all of the chaos and non-life in the universe. But the fact that there would be, even just using math, millions upon millions of planets that are Earth-like in the universe is absurd to think that the Earth is so super special. It's only special because we live here, right? And us being alive and is not proof of God. Guests can't interrupt. No, they can't interrupt me. Nope, show can't. That's just how the show goes. That's how almost any podcast goes. Start one and you'll see that if you cannot run an effective podcast, if you allow guests to just keep interrupting and you're talking, you're interrupting, and it just become a yelling match, which is why I only have one person up at the time. If Yeshua HaMashiach isn't the true, you wouldn't have to use his name to get engagement. I don't have to use his name, but it's the subject to which we're talking about. See, that's kind of like a reverse psychology kind of thing. Like, well, you should just be able to come on here and get engagement. On my relationship channel, I get engagement. On my personal page, I get engagement. If I were on my cigar channel, I get engagement. So that's like saying I shouldn't have to put cigar on there to get cigar engagement. That doesn't make any sense. That's like you saying I'm gonna open a business, I'm gonna black out all the windows, I'm not gonna put a sign on the door, we're not gonna advertise, we're not gonna have any social media, we're just gonna be inside of our business, not call anybody, not try to do anything, but people are just gonna walk through the door. That's absurd and makes zero sense whatsoever. That's how your comment sounds. The Bible has like 1% historical accuracy in it. So no, it's not a historical document. It just have a few historical pieces of information in it. Like Jerusalem existed, Hezekiah, Babylonians, the Egyptians existed. That's about it. Beyond that, the Bible has very little historical value. You know, it's funny how Fred and James they be saying, like, we're going to deal with you. And I think Fred told me he's going to get rid of my page in Yeshua name, yet it has yet to happen. Your God is weak, Fred Adams, not Fred Jones, Fred Adams. In your claims of, you got to shut down my page and all this kind of stuff. Do it. When's your God going to do it? Been doing this for years, almost a decade. It ain't happened yet. It has not happened yet, and I don't think it's ever coming. Oh, this can't. Okay, I'm getting the button. If I saw what I think I saw, I got to talk to this man.
What's your religion?
Kenzo?
What's your religion?
First, I have a question for you. Are you over 21?
I am.
And are you a believer?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to qualify you for the show first before we have a conversation.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, that was the qualification. For TikTok, I have to make sure that you're old enough to be on the show. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so what's your religion?
I don't have one.
You don't believe in any religion?
No. Do you believe in a God?
Why are you wearing that necklace?
Because it's a nice piece of jewelry.
It has another meaning.
It has multiple meanings through multiple societies throughout time, but none of those means anything to me. Doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, cool. So you don't believe in a religion?
I already answered. What religion do you believe in?
I mean, why?
Because there's no proof of any of them. What religion do you believe in?
I believe in Islam.
Okay. There's no proof of any God's existence.
What type of evidence do you need?
Measurable, observable, testable. Fact.
Those categories don't fit into God.
Then you don't exist. If it's all based on faith.
And the other categories here exist.
There are no categories that other than what I said. On the categories I said, he doesn't exist. The only way a God exists is if people believe in that God.
Okay,
right?
Have you heard about the Kalam cosmological argument?
I heard cosmological argument. I didn't catch the first word.
Kalam.
Callum?
It's an argument made by Greek.
Argument made in Greek. Okay,
Yeah,
what is so just explain the argument and I'll probably know what it is if you explain the argument. I'm just not getting that first word.
The fine-tuning of the universe.
Yeah, the universe is not fine-tuned for life. Life has fine-tuned itself for Earth, but the universe is mostly devoid of life. So the universe is not fine-tuned for life because most of it doesn't have life.
No. That's not true at all.
So there's life on Mars, Venus, Jupiter.
There's life on Mars, the moon.
There's life on the moon.
Yeah.
What's your proof of life on the moon? What's your proof that life on the moon? Where's your proof that life is on Jupiter?
My mother told me.
No disrespect to your mom, but your mom is wrong. I told my children that that rain comes from birds spitting in the sky because I wanted them to stop playing in the rain. I told my kids all kind of crazy shit. But as they got older, I made sure I tell them the truth. I told them the truth.
Yeah, but my mother's not wrong, you know.
Your mother what?
She's not wrong.
I'm sorry. Your accent throws me off sometimes. Your mother. What was the word you said?
She's not wrong.
She's maroon?
Wait, hold on. Do you know humans went to the moon?
Oh, you say your mom went to the moon.
Yeah.
Kenzo. Now, I know in your profile, it look like you're smoking something. I know I'm smoking a cigar. What the hell are you smoking, man? Your mom went to the moon. Is this prank Ren's day or something? What the hell? Y'all know I partied hard Saturday night and was recovering on Sunday, so it's like he might be a little slow today, so let me prank him. Come on, man. Do you have a serious factual base that the universe is fine-tuned for life? Because the most other universe is devoid of life, as we have discovered thus far. Matter of fact, I was just explaining how possibly only 400 planets within the known universe would have life on it as we know it. And now even the Earth itself is not fine-tuned for life. Life has fine-tuned itself for the Earth. Meaning that without that, the Earth happens to have water, happens to be in the habitable zone, happens to have oxygen and nitrogen and whatnot, which allows for life to exist on this planet. And life has constantly adapted to the conditions of this planet.
If the gravitational pull of Earth was off by 1 centimeter, or I mean by 1 decimeter, we wouldn't be alive.
And that does not mean God, that a God exists. That just means that the Earth is that life has fine-tuned itself for the Earth. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that people
life has 0 IQ.
No, I have a large IQ. But here's the thing. If the Earth, and understand how I'm saying this, the Earth doesn't make massive shifts in a sense where we're at the degrees that we are at now. The Earth is actually moving through the habitable zone, but it moves at such a slow rate that we are able to adapt to the environments of the planet to maintain life. The sun is actually growing, and but it grows so slowly that we are able to adapt to the newer environments that's on Earth. So what you're saying, so your degrees things really don't matter, because adaptation will allow us to still live on Earth until it gets to a point where the Earth becomes barren, because when the sun becomes by the time the sun becomes a red giant, it will have swallowed the Earth anyway, and then there will be no life on
That was a whole of nothing. Because you just proved my point.
No, I didn't.
Tuning of the Earth.
So how was the Earth fine-tuned when the Earth wasn't necessarily in a habitable zone or habitable? When the Earth was a ball of rock, still molten, still got lava, still iron, still being bombarded, there was no life on Earth. So how was it fine-tuned when there was no life on it? Unless it geology, ice core samples, astrological studies.
Do you know what life is? You know how bacteria counts as life.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
Microbacterial things count as life.
Yeah, microbacterial things count as life, and we can see some ancient microbacteria on the planet. But they only go back so far. They don't go back as far as old as the Earth is. And if you're going to count that as life, wait. So you're counting that as life. So then you're talking about evolution. So then you believe in evolution.
From a scientific standpoint, I believe in evolution to a sense.
Okay, so then God didn't create us if you believe in evolution.
God created us because who brought life here? It didn't come here by itself.
Nobody. Just the way shit happens.
The way shit happens.
Yep. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. It's not. I understand. Everybody wants to feel special. You're on this planet. You're on Earth. You want to feel special. So you have to have a special creation. You know, hell, the last time I told a lie in my life is because I wanted to have a special birth. So I told a lie about how I was born, and it backfired years later. But I wanted to feel special. So you want to feel special because you're on Earth, and we ain't met nobody from somewhere else yet. But the truth of the matter is, there's mathematically, there's going to be millions of planets that are in the same habitable zone as Earth is to their star, and going to have the same compositions of water and nitrogen, and all that stuff. Well, we found 400 planets so far. We found 400.
400?
Yes.
I don't think so. I think it's 2.
No, 2, like number 2 or 200.
No, 2 planets. The one we live in and another one.
It's actually 400.
That looks like Earth.
It's 400.
But there's no confirmed life on it.
Well, we can't. Our instrumentation won't demonstrate that, but it has the same properties as Earth, from what we can tell by the ways we're able to measure it now. So that in itself gets rid of the whole Earth is special, because it's special to us. It should be special to us. But as far as the known universe is concerned, it's not special.
It will be special until you find evidence of another life.
It's always going to be special because it's my home, it's Earth. But in the grand scheme of the known universe, it ain't that special.
There's no evidence of life outside of Earth, which makes Earth special.
Actually, you just said that microbacteria would be a form of life, and we found fossilized microbacteria on Mars. So you just kind of.
From Mars? No. You're lying.
Okay, I don't. Do you have proof? Do you have proof? Can you counter that? Can you counter that claim? What is your counter to that claim other than you're lying? Because that's boredom. That just shows me I'm just gonna say what I want to say. Believe what I want to say.
Wait, this is a fallacy. Because you're asking me to prove your standpoint.
So let me see here. Where did I see that? Okay, so I'm gonna correct myself. I'm gonna correct. I have to go look it up again. I'm gonna correct myself. Is the information suggests that Mars may have been habitable for microscopic? Yeah. So I see. I don't mind correcting.
It's a theory, my friend. It's not confirmed.
Okay. Granted. You see, how I can accept when something is when I make a mistake. I can accept it. No problem.
Yeah, you should.
No problem.
Because it's not correct thing that came out of your mouth today.
Excuse me?
Nothing, go ahead.
Yeah, because we were being polite, but if you want to go the other route, I can switch gears really easily. It's not a problem for me.
So you're going to start insulting me?
I mean, because it sounded like you just tried to insult me. So.
Thank you, Miss Hammond.
You know, I can barely understand half the shit you're saying. but I'm doing my best to treat you respectfully.
The language
But
very much.
yeah, but it sounded like you insulted me. So I'm gonna put it. So let's go down this route then, since you want to do the insulting thing, and the fact that usually I don't talk about Islam, but according to your fake ass book, your Muhammad supposedly split the moon, but yet the moon's not split. So you
Yeah, there's
believe.
evidence
So
for
you
it.
believe in
Go
a.
Google
So
it, man.
you there is no evidence for it. You believe in a book where some
You can
dude
go to Google.
who was walking around marrying his 9-year-old and then had sex with her when she was 12. So you believe in this pedophile who then supposedly had the magic power to split a moon. And then when I got to Saudi Arabia and I watched y'all run around and throwing rocks at a damn rock, kissing the rock down, you believe that a meteorite has some type of mystic power, and that this dude split, this pedophile who bang a little girl. And you want to tell me that your mama went to the
So
moon?
you believe
Your
three
mother
words.
has never
Can I
been
show?
anywhere. No, you cannot, because you're not going to come on my page and and lodge a little fucking comment and be disrespectful. Try to help you through your damn language barrier and all that stuff, and all you want to do is be disrespectful. It's this. And I usually leave Islam alone. What? How you doing, Daylight?
How you doing, man? Is my audio all right?
Huh?
Is my audio fucked?
It's fine. We can roll.
All right. I was just wanting to say hi, bro. It's been a while.
It has. It has. Where you been?
Well, I've been same shit. Living off grid in the mountains out here in the Ozarks.
I know. You know, the way that today is going, I wish I was off the grid in the Ozarks.
Hey, man, it is nice out here. It is nice out here.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to say one thing for the record that Yahweh, Jesus, and Allah are desert war gods of hypocrisy, and followers of Abraham are a blood cult of sin worshippers. But you're still my brothers. I still love you guys. It's okay. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it.
Okay, your audio is getting a little horrible now, but I agree with you. They are just desert war gods.
That's why I haven't been going live, because I got to get me a mic. I just wanted to say hi, homie. All right. Have a good day, man. I'm checking you out.
I appreciate you.
But when I get a good mic, man, I'd like to have you come on my podcast.
Okay, no problem. Just let me know.
Yes, sir. All right. Catch you later, homie.
No problem. I need to go out into the Ozarks myself and just kick it. I don't even fish, but do some fishing. Somebody made a comment that I saw that I wanted to respond to. Where did I see that damn comment? Damn it, I saw it coming. I can't remember which one it was on, Facebook or TikTok. But I think people trying to punk me today. I think is there something that about me that's attracting foolishness today? Jaja. Oh, no, they're gone. Let's see. Here's the thing. Let me change this because I don't like that. There you go. To go from microorganisms to a tadpole to a fish crawling out of the water all the way to a monkey man is hard to believe without a God concept. Actually, even though I don't think it doesn't happen as streamlined as the way you're speaking of it, but close enough. Man didn't come from monkeys. I'm not saying that at all, because we didn't. Just a common ancestor that split, and even when the split that comes the Homo sapiens, there are many splits before and within the Homo sapiens split as well. That's how the whole thing works. But different environmental changes can create adaptations. We can see that, but what we can't see is a creator, a God. being that created anything, right? And then if this God being did create something, then there's no way that this God being is benevolent, is all good. So although you may have difficulty seeing the process of evolution or adaptation, it is even a bigger leap to believe in some magic sky daddy that just manifested everything on the planet and then put forth books that creates all types of confusions and war, unless he's an evil war god. Fred, what, he's like a dog with a bone. Don't know what to do with it. Don't know what to do with it. There was a different comment. Where the frick did I see that comment? There was a good comment, but I was trying to have that conversation with Lofeld until he's, for no apparent reason, want to go in a different direction. It's funny. They're saying, why are you posting that? You think that makes a difference? Billions believe in Jesus. It's amazing to me how y'all get so caught up into your feelings, and that if somebody doesn't agree with you, all of a sudden you want to shut them down. It's amazing how they want censorship, yet they themselves want to be able to talk and say whatever they want to say. Oh, this person, by believing or not believing or atheism is a religion by definition, which shows me that you don't know what the definition of religion. The definition of religion is to have worship and rituals towards some deity. There is no deity, therefore there is no religion. There are no rituals, so therefore there is no religion. There is no worship, so there is no religion. So atheism is not a religion by definition. You might want to go look up what the definition of religion is before you make that type of statement, because it shows that you don't know what the word, what religion means. But so to kind of shift a little gear a little bit here, so one of the things that I was talking about as far as Jeremiah 33, and if you saw the video that I did about this, then you should already have an idea of what I'm about to say based on what the Bible claims in itself. But according to Jeremiah 33, where in the hell is it? I lost it. Oh, so Jeremiah 33 is supposed to be one of the prophecies concerning Jesus, but it's also what's supposed to be fulfilled once this covenant that this God made with David is supposed to come true. And when you look at it, I'm gonna start at 14 instead of 17. It said, the days are surely coming, says the Lord, all caps, the tetragrammaton, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. So this is the Messiah that he's talking about. In those days, at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. A righteous branch. Now remember, the branch that Joseph comes from was no longer considered a righteous branch, but was cursed. So it says a righteous branch up from David. Jesus is from a cursed branch. And he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. Jesus did not execute righteousness and justice in the land. In those days, Judah will be saved and Jerusalem will live in safety. So when Jesus came, Judah was not saved and Jerusalem was not living in safety. And this is the name by which it will be called, the Lord is our righteousness. For thus says the Lord, tetragrammaton, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel. Well, there has been no kings of Israel since the time frame of Herod Archelaus. So no one has sat on the throne since then, and certainly no one from the line of David. And the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence to offer burnt offerings, to make grain offerings, and to make sacrifice for all time. If Jesus was the Messiah, he would have sat on the throne of David. There would always be somebody sitting on the throne of David. The Levitical priest would be able to make sacrifices. The temple would not have been torn down in 70 CE if Jesus was truly the Messiah. I want you to think about that part for a second. If the Levitical priests are going to be able to make sacrifices, the burnt offerings, then the temple would not have been torn down by the Romans, because supposedly this Messiah was going to control Jerusalem. The tribe of Judah and none of these other tribes would come back. Jerusalem will be safe. The temple would have remained, and then Jesus, the Levitical priest, Jesus would have sat on the throne, and the Levitical priest would be able to make sacrifices. And based on what Jeremiah is saying, Jesus would have had a wife and he would have some children, because so that the line could still be sitting on the throne today. But people will look at that and say, oh, well, that's talking about the 1,000-year reign. If Jesus was supposed to be the sacrifice to end all sacrifices according to Christian doctrine, which there's no prophecy that says that, then then why are there going to be some more sacrifices? The Levitical priests are still going to be sacrificing burnt offerings, and a burnt offering is to kill something, it's kill an animal. So Jesus in no way, shape, or form fulfill any of Jeremiah 33. Thank you for becoming a super fan, Lex Luthor. Thank you for becoming a super fan. And user whatever, I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. And no, I'm not Christian. Hence the page, Deconstructing Christianity. So if Jesus never fulfilled any of the prophecy of Jeremiah 33, how can Jesus, why do y'all still believe in this dude? There is not one prophecy that the character Jesus fulfilled, and he has to fulfill the prophecies of the Torah in order to be the Jewish Messiah, in order to be the God that y'all proclaim him to be. And the prophecy of the Jewish Messiah does not become one with God. That was a later Christian invention. So with that being a later Christian invention, it actually has nothing to do with the Old Testament, the Jewish Messiah. What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Marion.
Marion, are you over 21?
Yes, I'll be 40 in 14 days.
Oh, happy early born day. And are you a believer?
Yes, I'm a believer.
Okay.
I'm saying like this, like I'm a believer in energy, force, you know. I mean, as far as those stories about Jesus Christ and all those people, I seen one of your videos where Jehovah's Witnesses got there, how they became a religion, how Buddhism, how they became a religion. I mean, it's all man-made. I mean, and then like you was like Jesus said, within myself. Like, yeah, I believe within myself, because if I create a positive vibe, like creative, like positive thinking, I get positive results. So if I go around negative, that type of energy, I believe that. Now, as far as a force for all powerful, like same for everybody, I don't. At this point, like I don't know. I just believe, but I don't get no one individual no praise, you know, and I don't knock no one else for what they believe in.
And that's a very altruistic thing. I don't knock people for believing in it. If you want to believe in it, go ahead and believe in it. That's fine. It may seem like I knock people because when they come on here, but if you believe in Jesus, don't come on here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't go to Christian podcasts to get on their show and argue with them because they have a right to believe whatever they want to believe.
Correct.
But when they come on here, we're going to go through the path. We're going to walk that path. But I agree with you. Everything is just energy. All you got to do is just, if you focus your energy on the pathway that you want to be a better person and have, you know, whatever it is you want to have in your life, and then put forth the action, then you most likely are going to get it. Unless somebody else is going against you and they have a stronger will or they're more active, that is the only thing, you know, that could mess you up. But beyond that, your life is up to you. Nobody else.
Hey, they gotta take note. These people blind. For once, can I speak on something else?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how could you work for a government or a system if the day up on her, they'll agree to pay you this for that. Okay, but now I have loved ones who working for this government and they ain't getting their bills paid, they ain't getting paid. But you gotta make a conscious decision on your own to say, hey, I can do other things with this time here that I'm not getting paid for, but these bills still coming. So instead of me going to your job, I'm gonna go to this job over here and make some money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But these people continue to go to work, but they waiting on a what? They're waiting on a crowd, a group of people, a mass of people for to make a move. Now you gotta make a conscious decision on your own. You gotta stand out. People scared to stand up for themselves because I got bills to pay. The next person probably can work for the next 2-3 weeks for free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I ain't in his situation. I gotta do what's best for me. And people don't know how to stand out. People don't know how to be individuals. And that's why a lot of people are lost.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't want to accept the consequences of those actions, and it's kind of a catch-22. I'm thinking you're talking about the government furloughed people, right? And the ones that are determined to be essential personnel. I've lived through that while I was in the Marine Corps, and I get it. Now, from a military standpoint, you sign a contract, you got to go to work. You don't go to work, they can throw you in jail. So you kind of stuck to do your job, the military, right? But the other government employees, they are stuck in because if they put in a number of years, they can walk away, but they're going to lose the seniority. They're going to lose those years. They're going to lose whatever retirements they've been working on. So that's the trap that makes it hard for them to walk away from that situation. But they do have a choice. They do have a choice. It's up to them. They just have to be willing to accept whatever consequences come with that choice.
Okay, now this guy at the bottom said, what they have to do with the conversation? It's about decision making. Then what life is basically about. You have a good and you bad. You have a day and you have a night. See, people really don't understand, but I bought it up because things got many levels. Everything have a level to it. And this guy eyes got to be open, of course, I can tell with his comments. But that's not my job, and right now I don't have the time for that. But I checked out your video, and anybody you listen to preaching a word or speaking the truth, if you continue to listen to anybody at some point, if they take the information in from somebody else's source, either from the Bible or the Quran, and put in their own experience, really gonna sound contradicted in any type of conversation, no matter who's speaking it. No matter who's speaking, because people talking about God. Nobody never really know the truth. Nobody never really know where we came from. To the time come, I'm gonna rest with what I gotta deal with. I'm gonna rest with what I make life for myself.
Right.
I'm gonna pay that path. And another thing, like, it's so much to be spoken on about this topic, man. I watched a video and one of your videos was talking about when Jesus married Adam and Eve, that video right there, and then he stopped the video saying, "Oh, that is bullshit." And then I listened to what you said. Said Jesus, he was the good half, and his other half, once she the one that committed to sin, she the one that disobeyed. So we got a light and a dark, and then we got the yin and the yang, male and female come together. And we all individual possess those traits, the light and the dark. But it's one you choose to get that energy to, and a lot of people don't know themselves. And then how they get confused and lost on any doctrine, any teaching they brought about. When they gotta study themselves first. Because what worked for you may not work for me. And I wasn't built like you. That's why I'm an individual. because you can't tell me what don't burn, what hurts me. I feel this body. I live in this body.
No,
you may work for you.
And that's I agree with you that you should just follow your own path and do what works for you. But let me get some other people up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get up. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, Mary. Let's see. Let's continue with the conversation here. Okay. I don't think that person is there. Nope. They went away. So we got Kennedy.
Hey, how are you today?
Doing well, Kennedy. How are you doing?
Good. Listen, I just opened up my TikTok and you was the first thing on it. I didn't know you had a TikTok. Here, let me go ahead and follow you. I follow you over on Facebook.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to say, I really, really appreciate during my deconstruction journey, a friend of mine sent me one of your videos over on Facebook about a year ago. And I really like your just kind of no nonsense approach. Keep it really short and sweet, logical. I love the humor. But I love what you're doing. And I see a couple women doing it, but you're the first man that I've seen over doing this. Yeah. So I hold on another platform. I do deconstruction lives, and I also do deconstruction from all harmful beliefs, racism, all that stuff. I help field whites out here that still hold those nasty beliefs. I help them deconstruct it stuff. But it's refreshing to see a man doing this. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Now that's interesting. I see. Now I will admit, my algorithm does show me more women on TikTok who are deconstructing. But I have seen some men who deconstruct.
Yeah, over this way, I definitely more men. Do you know a woman that goes by Thinker on here?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes a little rough around the edges, but the knowledge is endless with that one when it comes to just a lot of ancient history and other religions and stuff. I've learned a lot from her. So keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kennedy. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Yeah, Thinker she can be rough on them, but she's nice as long as you're nice to her. But you best know what you're talking about before you come up there.
What's going on?
How you doing? Well, you're over 21. I can tell by the way you look.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I can tell you're over 21. So I ain't gotta ask that question.
100%. Hey, I had to get some vitamin D on my hair, man. So let me cover it up so it don't distract them.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're good to go.
Okay. So let's see. Let's address one thing at a time. Jesus was not the Jewish Messiah. Okay. So how can you say that?
Because he didn't fulfill.
Okay. Matter of fact, real quick. Let's get. Let me get some clarity on your position. So do you follow the Bible as a whole, or do you accept basically the what's it called, like the Old Testament for simplicity's sake? You accept the Old Testament, not the New, correct?
No, I don't. When you say accept, are you saying that accept it in the framework of do I believe in it?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. When I say accept, do I mean what?
Do you mean like do I believe in it?
Yeah. What is your position?
It's just a religion that's just something that was written by man, a religion that they created in order in a history they created for themselves.
Okay. So you don't accept, what would you consider yourself if I asked you what do you believe?
Atheist.
What do you believe in as far as religion?
Oh, thank you for the heart, Kennedy, the love. No, I don't have a religion.
Hey, showing love. Excuse me.
I don't have a religion. I don't believe in a religion. I don't believe a God
Okay,
exists.
cool. Okay, cool. So you're debating off of the position that of an atheist.
Yes and no. What I believe doesn't actually matter as far as what the text says and what the people who wrote the text believe. So the main premise is based
I'm
off
gonna come
of,
up with camera so I can hear you a little better. All right.
the main premise is that isn't what I believe. The main premise is
Right. Okay.
what the wait, let me finish. Okay, there's a sign right there saying don't interrupt me.
Yes, sir. Excuse me.
The main premise is that I base it off of what the people wrote and what they believe when they wrote it.
Okay, got it. I see. That's all I needed to know. I was trying to figure out really. So based off of the story, you saying that he was not the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number one, what does Messiah mean?
Anointed one.
The anointed one.
Yeah. But understand that's what the word means. What it meant to the people what it meant to the Jewish people who are writing the Torah is that the Messiah is the anointed one who will sit on the throne of David, will overthrow whatever government was oppressing them and bring peace and prosperity to Israel for all time. Where are you, man? That's a lot of noise.
Okay, so obviously.
Can you go outside or somewhere? Hold on, stop. Can you go to a quieter place?
Am I of either faith?
Can you go to a quieter place? There's a ton of background noise and people talking.
Let me see. Yeah. Give me 2 minutes. Bring somebody back up.
All right. That's a lot of noise. That was a lot of noise. I was trying, but that's a lot of noise. It sounded like we could have a pretty decent conversation, but that was a lot of noise.
Yo, what's up, Vince?
What up, Lo? Ooh, I'm enjoying the quiet in your background is so peaceful right now. Man had a lot of noise.
It's a lazy day. I ain't getting no work today. Waiting for the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, I like that you went to that scripture because in Jeremiah, as a Christian, for some reason I read the whole Bible like several times over, but that's a big detail to miss in 19 through 22. The fact that not only is it supposed to reestablish David king, as the king, but also the Levitical priesthood.
Mm-hmm.
So as Christians, the Levitical priesthood to us has been done away with, and there would be there's no need for a Levitical priesthood in the when you read the book of Hebrews. That's like the whole point of the whole book is that because of what Jesus did, he's the our high priest is after a whole nother order, after the order of Melchizedek, and there's no need for the Levitical priesthood no more. So that would mean that this is supposed to be a messianic prophecy about Jesus himself. That would kind of invalidate Christian doctrine on what the priesthood is.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought up the 19 through 22 part, because not only does that invalidate the idea of the 1,000-year reign, because during the 1,000-year reign, there is no Levitical priesthood in Revelations. So you can't apply this to the 1,000-year reign as many Christians do. That is in Revelation, I think 22 or something like that. And then this guy goes on to say, in that he first challenges and says that if you can't break the covenant between the day and the night, so that the day and the night don't come, then you can't break this covenant. So Jesus never fulfilled it. He was never part of this covenant because the Levitical priesthood wasn't established. And the only way he could have been, he would have to have broken the day and the night in order to do it. And that he didn't happen. He literally says that until heaven and earth pass away, you have to follow the law. So he's still, he's within the laws, and this is that the old stuff is what you still have to follow. So he literally was telling them, I'm not your Messiah.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason, like when in the early church, when it came to canonizing the scripture, they had an issue with the Book of Revelation because there were people saying that very same thing, that in the 1,000-year reign, that they would reinstitute the all of the sacrifices and things, and that would just is totally contrary to like the whole purpose of Christianity. If Jesus died on the cross for our sin, what's the point of the offering and burning? It's just ridiculous. I mean, in my deconstructing, the whole concept is ridiculous to me now. The whole concept of even going all the way back to Genesis, the idea of sacrificing the animal to have your sins forgiven. Now that shit just seems so retarded to me. But just even in this framework, it don't make any sense. That's why the early church rejected the millennial, what they call chillism. They rejected it. They accepted the Book of Revelation, but they didn't interpret it that way because they rejected this idea that God is going to come back and reestablish the temple with all of the same offerings and things.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I had disagreement with pastors with when I was younger and still in the church, is that I would ask them, I say, okay, if Jesus was the sacrifice, the ending of the sacrifice, and we're going to be living in this 1,000-year reign, and there's going to be this 1,000-year reign where you're living with Jesus, so everybody should be, peaceful and all this sort of thing. What is the point of the offerings then? Because now people believe in this God, they love this God, so we must have to keep doing offerings because you still become unclean, but you're in the 1,000-year reign with Jesus. So how are you becoming unclean? Right? Is birth still happening? And in those births, the woman is still considered unclean. So she got to kill 2 pigeons or 2 doves. You still got to give sin offering? Do we still have to do the scapegoat offering? Like, this is not making sense. If Jesus was supposed to be that offering, why are we still doing it?
Well, my understanding always, because I used to be what you would call a historical premillennialist.
Mm-hmm.
I believed in a 1,000-year reign, but I didn't believe in the pre-trib rapture. I believed in the post-trib and all that. So, so my understanding was that if you just look at the Book of Revelation, that what's happening is that Jesus setting up the kingdom, ruling from Israel, and we're ruling with him, and people, are bringing like their money and all this stuff. They're worshiping, coming to the temple to worship, but I never took it like people were coming to like reinstitute the sacrifices to have your sins forgiven and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you get deep into the dispensational teaching, like especially if you're a pre-tribulationist, they believe like everything's about the nation of Israel. So God is basically reinstituting Judaism a second time.
Right.
It's like, so so it's like the people that are alive, they still have babies and all that stuff. And, there's reason to believe that from the Old Testament, but it's not really what it's really saying, So, yeah, that's why that verse in Jeremiah seems to be expressing that there's going to be a Levitical priesthood again.
Yep, but there's not.
Reinstituted.
And Jesus didn't do it.
Yeah, so.
And you got to think, the temple, if Jesus was truly the Messiah, he would have conquered the Romans and the temple would have never been torn down so that there could be Levitical priest sacrifice.
Right.
And here's the funny part about that. The only reason why the temple in Jerusalem matters is because during the Assyrian conquest of Israel, Jerusalem under Hezekiah became a tributary to Sennacherib. And since there were no more temples anywhere else, once they had the opportunity to build more temples, politically, he saw having only the temple in Jerusalem, he was able to corral all the power into Jerusalem. But prior to that, under Joshua, each city was supposed to have their own temples. So Hezekiah actually disobeys what Joshua and Moses originally set up and taught.
You saying everybody's supposed to have their own temples?
Yeah, when you look at when you go back and you read like Deuteronomy and then get into Joshua, each city was supposed to build their own temple with their own altars. And you remember the Danites got in trouble because they took one of the altars that was previously used for the Canaanite people and kind of like transformed it. And so they had this whole big disagreement. And then, they were going to kick the Danites' ass, but then they kind of came to an agreement with the Danites that, okay, you can go ahead and use that temple. So yeah, all of them were supposed to have their own temples within their own cities.
What they call temples, or what they call something else, like tabernacle? I mean, what they
tabernacle, tent of meetings, temple, same thing. All of them is a place to house their God and to do worship towards their God.
Because my understanding is the temple is something different because of what because they didn't want to build out a house, but it was done through Solomon. And so that's where the concept of the temple.
No, it's awesome. But the temple served the same purpose that the tent of meeting serves, that the altars in every little city serve. So remember when they first left. Okay, so even when you go back to Abraham and all of them, they built altars in different places for this God.
Right.
That was serving as a place of worship. When they came out of Egypt, they built the tent of meetings. So while they was wandering, they carried the temple or the tent of meetings everywhere they went. And that's where their God dwelled. And remember, he also dwelled in the Ark of the Covenant, because when the Ark of the Covenant went into a temple of Dogon, he fought against Dogon, according to the story. So then when they finally get into Joshua and crossing into the Holy Land, when Joshua gives out the inheritances, they all are building temples in their own cities so that they can practice their spirituality. And that's why the Levites, the Leviticals, they didn't get a land. They were dispersed out to the different cities of the different tribes to be able to do all the temple worship.
Right.
As they started building temples at that time frame.
Yeah, I understand, but like I said, I think I'm sorry to interrupt you. I understand that, but like I said, it seemed like it was a difference, like essentially with temple and like I said, these other gathering places.
No, it's the same thing. They all the same.
As long as there was a temple, the main temple, they would have bring their sacrifices there. You had even when you look in the book of Luke, where it shows how Jesus, was in Jerusalem and went to the temple, do the offerings and things that, even in this verse right here, when we're talking about it, there's a consolidation of power basically in Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying, with David and with the Levites in the temple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
the religion itself seems to be geared towards that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but religion does that. So like I said, Hezekiah, once all the other temples in Israel were destroyed and only the Jerusalem temple remained, Hezekiah and his kids after him made it so that was the only temple and changed it so that everybody had to come to Jerusalem. So by the time you get to Jesus, which is now going to be 800 years later, that's just been the norm for 800 years. It's kind of like how Christianity was spread all throughout the Roman Empire, but then once the Vatican was established in around 400 CE, then Christianity became centered with the Vatican, the only difference is they allow them to build other churches that they can still worship in and perform the Eucharist and all that stuff. So it would be like as if when the Vatican was established and if all other churches were destroyed, then the Vatican would say, well, this is the only place you can perform the Eucharist. So anytime somebody wanted to perform the Eucharist, they had to come all the way to the Vatican.
Okay, I got what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So you kind of saying that it wasn't originally that way, and it got that way, and it kind of
just stuck.
The descriptions.
Yeah, it just stuck, and then it became part of the scriptural writing, their writings. Right.
And you know what I was thinking of today, right before I got on your channel, and like I said, we this deconstruction. One thing I was looking at is this idea of the last days, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that the last days have been taking longer than the first days. When you go back to when the kingdom of Israel was established,
yeah,
to the last day. I mean, when Peter did Pentecost, he talked about the last days, that we were in the last days. It's been 1992 years of last days in comparison to about 1100 years of the beginning of history.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how many more years we need to recognize that this, even though these people may have been well-meaning, it just ain't true.
No, it's just not. It's just not
true.
true. That's a good statement. I might have to make a video and make a joke about that one.
You can have that one for free.
All right. Well, let me get some more people.
All right, Coach.
Appreciate you, Lo.
All right.
All right. Peace. Somebody said something earlier that I want to comment. Oh, thought you believed in the great architect and Psalms 133. Yeah, so when I first became a Mason, I didn't believe in the God of the Bible. Masonry, you only have to believe that there is a creator. So when I first became a Mason, I was still in the state where I believed that there was a creative, there was an intelligent designer. You don't have to believe in Jesus or the Bible to do that. Now, I no longer believe that no longer think that there is a creator, but I will still say that I am a Mason because hell, I went through the process, I became one, and I come to realize that Masonry is beyond belief. You don't need to have belief to be a Mason. That's just some bullshit that the Church of England, that was just some bullshit that when England restarted Masonry as the organization it is today, that they forced into the idea of it. But if you go back to Egyptian rites, you don't have to believe in any God whatsoever. So that's the other part. And no, I'm not Jewish. But yeah, you don't I've had conversation with other higher ranking Masons or of the same rank as me, I put it that way. And we debated about the fact that Masonry should have nothing to do with your belief in a God. And at the end of the conversation, they agreed with me that aspect of it is man generated. Well, the whole thing is man generated. So Carlton. Hello? Carlton?
Yes.
Okay. Are you over 21?
Yes.
All right. And are you a believer?
I am.
And which God do you believe in?
Yeshua.
Okay. So you believe he was the Jewish Messiah and God?
I believe he was the son of Yah, that he came to set us free from the mess we got ourselves into.
All right, so we didn't get ourselves into anything, but what is your evidence that your God exists?
It's a faith walk.
Well, faith is not evidence.
Mm-hmm. No,
No, I believe the scriptures. I don't believe. I believe there's definitely some errors, some things that have been removed.
So
I do read some of the apocrypha books.
So did Jesus fulfill Jeremiah 33?
Rehash that back to me.
So Jeremiah 33, starting at verse 14, says, "In the days the days are surely coming, says the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days, at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up from David, and he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days, Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will live in safety. And this is the name by which it will be called: the Lord is our righteousness. For thus says the Lord, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of David, throne of the house of Israel. And the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence, to offer burnt offerings, to make grain offerings, and to make sacrifices for all times." It's a little bit more after that, but I think that's enough.
You saying, do I believe that has happened or is happening, going to happen?
Well, Jesus would have to fulfill this in order to be the Messiah.
Yeah, he took away that priesthood. He is the priesthood.
Okay, but it says that, and the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence, to offer burnt offerings and to make grain offerings and to make sacrifices for all times. So is there a Levitical priesthood that's making sacrifices right now and throughout since Jesus?
No.
Then he is not the Messiah.
He was the last sacrifice.
But this says that there are going to be sacrifice of burnt offerings and grain offerings for all times. So it's more than one sacrifice. This is for all times, continuation of sacrifice. Grain offerings. Is Jesus a grain offering?
No.
So then this offering is not fulfilled. Did he sit on the throne of David as king of Israel and bring safety to Jerusalem?
I guess I haven't studied that.
Most preachers won't bring this up, or they'll just read one line off of it. But so the branch so in order to make Jesus a branch of David, you have to go through Joseph's lineage, right?
Yes.
Joseph comes from a lineage that was cursed to never sit on the throne of David.
Joseph, you mean the Joseph from
Jesus' daddy?
Oh, Mary's Joseph?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that Joseph.
Because true or false, is that how Jesus' lineage is said to be from the house of David?
True.
But Joseph's line was cursed to never sit on the throne of David.
So, okay, what was his line? I don't know his line.
Let me look up the name, because I'm gonna mess up the damn name because I can never say it right. The name it starts with a J. Well, it's Jehoiakim. Okay, so it's in the line of Jehoiakim, also called Jehoshaphat. I always seen the Jehoshaphat. I've never seen the Jehoiakim part. Well, I ain't gonna say I've never seen it. I just didn't think about it. But it's in the line of Jehoiakim, which I believe goes through the line of Nathan. And Jehoiakim's line is said to be cursed and can never sit on the throne of David. Let's see, that's Jeremiah 22. Oh, damn, it's in this. Hold on. So if you go to Jeremiah 22, down to verse 30. Well, actually, verse 24, it starts out with saying that as I live, says the Lord, even if King Kohan, I'm saying that name, Coniah, I should be able to say that, Konai, son of Jehoiakim of Judah, wear the signet ring on my right hand. So it talks about that king, right? But when you get to verse 30, talking about that king, he says, thus says the Lord. This is the tetragrammaton, so it's talking about Yahweh. Record this man as childless, a man who shall not succeed in his days, for none of his offspring shall succeed in sitting in the throne of David and ruling again in Judea. Well, in Judah, sorry, in Judah. So it's saying that this line can never sit on the throne. And this is the line that Joseph comes from. So if the lineage of Jesus is determined through Joseph's line to say that he is of the house of David, he's from a line that can never sit on the throne.
That's it.
And the fact that he didn't sit on the throne himself. So does he fulfill Jeremiah?
I'm not prepared to answer that.
Come on.
I'm gonna let you move
on. you don't want to answer that because you know what the answer is. And I understand. I do understand. Because when I was going through my deconstruction phase, there were times where I got answers and I didn't want that to be the answer. And so I was like, let me go do some other research. And then I realized all I was saying to myself is, I don't like that answer and I want the answer to be this. So let me figure out a way that I can make the answer what I want it to be instead of just accepting the answers wherever it lands. So I understand because it's a hard thing. You know, because we've been taught something, you've been taught something, you believe in it, and challenging your beliefs are very difficult to do.
Yeah, I believe there's an awakening happening, that we're seeing now things that we were taught were not the truth or the whole truth. A lot of things that are written, we take, they're just tradition. It's not the truth, and we're coming. We've been westernized so much, Western Christianity, especially from slavery, and now there's awakening, and we're realizing who we really are.
Yeah, and we're realizing that we have absolutely nothing to do with this Middle Eastern religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all it really is. It's no different from this religion, from any other religion that was ever created anywhere else in the world. They were all created by those indigenous people, and they were all just talking about themselves. But it's been forced down the throat of a third of humanity since the Roman government took over.
Oh yeah, Rome. I can't leave them out. They're the ones.
If Theodosius would have chosen Mithraism, then most of us would have been indoctrinated into Mithraism. I mean, that's just the way it works in civilizations.
Yeah, religion. Yeah, I'm not a religious person. I don't go by that. I don't go by Christianity. I'm not a Christian because they were called Christians. That was done in Rome. Rome, they called them that. But I do believe that Yahudah, whose name I just recently found out was not, God is not a name. Jesus was not the name. Jesus was, we call him Jesus. We've always called him Jesus, but it's Yeshua or Yahudah. We were just taught that that picture that we've always imprinted in our head was the illegitimate son of one of the popes.
Yeah, that was I forgot his damn name. That I had his name in my head. No, I understand what you're saying, but even the name Jesus is still talking about the same person of Yeshua. It's just an interpolation, because the Greeks didn't have a name that could translate Yeshua, so they called him Ius, because that was the closest they had to that name. The Latin then didn't translate from the Hebrew. The Latin translated from the Greek, so they turned Ius to Isus. And then because the English has a translation for Yeshua, but because the Latin and the Greek was what was being used at that time frame, they just translated it to Jesus once the J came in.
Yeah, what's the J?
Yeah. But it's still all talking about the same person of Yeshua. And Caesarea Borgia. Thank you, Center Star.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's still talking about the same person. Right? There's no difference in the person. The same thing. They just couldn't translate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just like my middle name is Dwayne, but if I went to Japan, they wouldn't be able to translate that middle name because they don't have the W sound in their language. So my name would sound differently, but they still talking about the same person. Right. So I wouldn't get too stuck on that part, personally. I mean, I did for a while, but then I understood why it is that name and why we still refer to it. But yes, in English, they should be referring to him as Yeshua. Actually, in English, he should be referred to as Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua. Yeah.
Because that's what the name translates to in English, is Joshua. Because English is a Germanic language. So it doesn't hold the same issues as the Greek and the Latin. Right. So we shouldn't have that problem. But at the end of the day, the Yeshua character still doesn't fulfill the prophecies of the Jewish Messiah. So he should not have been worshipped as the Son of God.
Well, brother, I'm gonna leave on that.
All right. Yeah, you got to answer that phone that was ringing.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Man.
Appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Started out with some rough conversations, but now they are a lot better. Y'all been doing a lot. Oh man. Let's see. Did I miss any comments? But yeah, Caesarea Borgia. Hell, if I was the Pope and I was painting Jesus, I'd have my son being painted as Jesus too. I'm gonna keep my son in the limelight for all times. And when I talked about how the temple was destroyed in 70, you got to remember all these gospels was written pretty much right after the temple was destroyed. So of course I can write in there, oh yeah, Jesus prophesied this. If I'm writing after the events had already happened, I can easily make it into whatever I desire to make it. For example, I can tell y'all right now, I predicted that my Atlanta Falcons was going to lose to San Francisco 10-20. I predicted that. I said that. And I predicted that, our primary linebacker was going to get hurt, and that was going to make a huge difference in our ability to play the game and be able to stop McCaffrey. And because he was out, McCaffrey was going to get over 100 yards rushing. See, I predicted that. See, I predicted that. If I'm saying it after the fact, I can always predict it. That's why we call it Monday morning quarterback. And that's all. And all the Gospels and Revelations and writings of Paul are all written after the fact. So they can write whatever they want to write. As a matter of fact, I can claim right now that I had a vision from God last night. Came to me, and I got a deeper understanding of the Bible. Because that's all Paul did. That's all Paul did. Nobody verified it. Paul can't verify it. You can't prove it. Yeah. Now, Center Star just said it. If I were able to predict the score of my Atlanta Falcons game for next week when they go playing in Berlin, and I predict that game, then that would be a prophecy. But then if I predict it, it has to be exactly. Like if I say that next week, next Sunday, Atlanta is going to, I forgot who we're playing, but we're gonna play in Berlin and we're gonna win 23-7. The score can't be 14-10. It can't be 28-21. It has to be, what did I say? 23-7 in order for it to be a correct prophecy, right? It got to be exact. It has to happen. Otherwise, all I did was make a guess and hope that my guess comes out right. Like, I don't even know who's playing today because I don't care. I'm predicting that on Wednesday, my Atlanta Hawks are going to win their game, their first game of the season, 123-97. The score has to be exactly that in order to call me a prophet. If it's not that, then I'm a failed prophet, even if they win. So with Jesus not being able to fulfill Jeremiah 33, not being able to fulfill, there is no fulfillment of Isaiah 53 of Jesus' part. Isaiah 53 was fulfilled because the Israelites did get to go back to Jerusalem. But of course, Isaiah 53 is written after they had already returned to Jerusalem, after the decree by Cyrus was already written and they had already gotten back. So it's not, so 53 is not even a prophecy for Israel. It's really just stating what happened, but putting it in a format that makes it seem like it was a prophecy, because it wasn't written by Daniel at all. Not at all. And neither was Isaiah 7. Has nothing to do with Jesus, nothing to do with a prophecy for Jesus. It's written as a prophecy for King Ahaz. And it was written after the fact. And that's the hardest thing for people to realize who believe in this, is that everything in the Bible is written after the fact. Let me not say everything. Most of everything is written after the fact. Some things are written during the time frame, and as long as they're talking about what's happening right then, it's right. But as soon as they start prophesizing, it all goes wrong. Jeremiah prophesied on the 70 years of captivity, but it wasn't 70 years, it was 48 years of captivity. So his prophecy was wrong. And if Daniel said he had an angel come and tell him to give him deeper understanding of Jeremiah's prophecy, but then the angel and Daniel and Jeremiah were all wrong. And if the angel is wrong, and the angel is supposed to be coming from God, then God was wrong. See how that works? Look at Boss Lady getting on here before I'm about to close out. Look at you, girl. Got to get halfway through the show. So there are no prophecies in the Bible. You got some vague stuff. Now the writers, they did get pretty, got a good deal with it. They got vague with it. Wars or rumors of wars. That's vague as shit. Nostradamus made those predictions. I can make that one. I could have made that one easily. But even the Jesus character gets his prophecy wrong. There are those who are standing amongst you right now who will not taste death. All of them died before he returned. They all died. And it is not his return after this so-called resurrection that counts. It is because he said that he will return with angels and all that kind of shit and set up his kingdom. He didn't return with angels, and no kingdom was set up. Right? Death wins. There's the corpse with some bones of a dude whose name was Yeshua, who probably was some type of itinerant preacher who was claiming to be the Messiah, preaching apocalyptic preaching, probably got killed, crucified, and that motherfucker died. And his bones are somewhere, or they've been ravaged by time, and they just don't exist. They're dust. You got dust. There is zero proof of a resurrection. And here's the thing: there is no, if you go through the Bible, go through the Old Testament, the Torah, there's not one prophecy that says that the Messiah is going to be killed and that he's going to resurrect. There's not one in there, but yet people believe. Not a one. Let's see. How do I say your name?
Yeah, maybe it's my side. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
How do I say your name? Salah?
Solid.
Soleh? Are you over 21, Soleh?
Huh?
Are you over 21?
Oh, yeah. Well over 21. Twice. They're almost pushing the third.
Oh, damn. And do you believe in a God?
Yeah, I ain't got nothing else to do, brother. Come on.
So you believe in a God?
Yeah, I do believe in a creator. Yes, I do.
And I would guess, but I'm gonna ask which one.
Yeah, it's a law.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just make sure. You Muslim and you what?
A Muslim, and I practice. As the Arabs call the word or the term they coined for people who accept Islam after birth, a revert, which I call that discriminatory. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
Didn't know that personally. I don't know as much about Islam as I know about Christianity. So I didn't know that. So, but in Islam, Jesus is a Messiah, but he's not God, right?
He's like what is said in Islam is that there's two different types.
Mm-hmm.
There are messengers, and then there are what they call prophets. It's like prophets are distinguished between messengers. Messengers are almost like, I ain't gonna put him as a messenger, but almost saying like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey. They were the messengers. They came with something. You understand, with the message of fulfilling something for the people of that time. A prophet had a unique quality to him.
Okay.
And if you ever define a prophet, it's always the ones that stand out. I think they said it's something like in Islam, I forgot it was something like 144,000 messengers, but there were only like 26 prophets.
Okay. So, and y'all call him Isa, right?
What's that, Isa? Yeah.
So Isa he's a prophet in Islam?
He's a prophet.
Okay.
Like Abraham, like Moses, like Jacob, Noah.
Right, gotcha. So he's not the so you don't think, so you agree he's not the Jewish Messiah?
I don't know, because I don't think, well, I said that's the thing about it. I don't know anything about Judaism. I just knew that I only can refer to the part where I think it said where Jesus was. And that's the other thing too about prophets. They were sent at a specific time to a specific group of people. And at that time, I believe Jesus was sent to the lost sheep of Israel, who now are claiming themselves to be Jews. So I do think that he was the prophet of those people. Yes. I don't think he was the God of those people, but he was the prophet. So
Jesus ain't got nothing to do with me then.
Huh?
So then Jesus ain't got nothing to do with me then.
Well, in regards to just passing on what has already been said prior to him, because he didn't come with anything new. I mean, he was telling people the same thing. I mean, Moses was telling the Pharaoh to do the same thing. Noah was telling the same people. What's the one that when the Sodom and Gomorrah, when they told turn them into stones, Abraham and all them,
everybody came with the same message. But get your life right, stop doing evil. Ten Commandments is just the basics of it. But yeah, there was always laws governing man.
Yeah, but I
The
mean,
Creator just gave man just general guidelines in regards to like, hey, look, think about it like this. I don't know what a caveman had, but I sure know he didn't have LGBTQ rights back then in them days. He knew damn well not to deal with another man or whatever it is that was going on. They didn't procreate. So you understand?
Okay.
There was some guidelines or laws somewhere along the line that was just naturally given.
all right, but my point was, my ancestors, the bulk of my ancestry comes from Europe. A prophet was never sent. So what prophet was sent to my ancestors? Was Chetua the prophet that was sent to my ancestors?
Where you're saying your ancestors were from where?
Yoruba, Nigeria. So
Nigeria?
the bulk of them. I mean, I got some ancestry from some other places too, but the majority of my ancestry comes from Nigeria, Yoruba. So,
how about if you went as far back and you're saying that the original man was found, whatever they're saying a remains found of the original person or whatever it is. Adam is considered a prophet. So I mean, if that's the case, yeah, then you didn't have a prophet. It was Adam. If you want to go all the way back to Africa.
Well, Adam wasn't the first man, and Adam wasn't in Africa.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just going on just things that are thrown out there.
I know, but Adam, but
I don't know. But like I said, there were prophets and there were messengers.
But I'm saying,
yes, there could have been a messenger by the name of whomever you call it. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know if he was a prophet, but he could have been a messenger for sure.
So Chetua would have been a messenger for the Igbo and Yoruba people.
Yeah, if he came with a divine, message or something like that, yeah, that's a possibility.
Okay, so but what he taught, even though some of the basic things are similar, all the other cosmology was very different.
Well, you gotta remember now, times are different. So everybody went to a specific, and they went for a specific purpose too. So, like, say if the culture was in witchcraft, that prophet or messenger went to those people to deter them in regards to witchcraft. If it had something to do with financing or something like that, like being crooks or criminals or whatever it is during that time, that prophet or messenger went to those people regarding that issue. So it wasn't like he would be like, so like if they were like, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, when they were given that prophet went there for that specific issue during that time.
Okay, but no prophet, my point is that no prophet in the Bible, no prophet in the Bible ever went to my ancestors. My ancestors didn't find out about the Bible.
Now, the reason why I'll back this up is because I do know that there's a book of Maccabees that is missing from some Bible somewhere. There's a book of Maccabees. This is a strong one because I think that book, in that particular book, they say that it is taught about warriors in Christianity. And that's not a book that's in a lot of Bibles. So so you gotta think like this here. Textually, we can't not go on anything that's written in English. I wouldn't anyway.
Okay, but the Maccabees never went to my ancestors.
Well, what I'm saying is you got to understand. Yes, you could be correct because we don't know.
No, I do know.
You could be correct.
No, I know. My ancestors never heard about any biblical characters or any Middle Eastern characters until Christians came in the late 1500s, early 1600s.
Yeah, see, you could be correct. That's the thing about it. People think that because it's not within the context of what they can understand in regards to, it has to be these certain individuals and only these certain individuals came, and this is how it goes, guided by these particular people. But you may be correct. There may be a messenger that we don't have any idea of what his name is, and yes.
Right.
And it would be something that most ignorant people like myself, because I don't claim to know everything, that it is. I can imagine what's in Ethiopia because they saying that they can take Christianity back thousands of years.
Yeah, they lying.
So
They lying. They lying through their teeth.
what, the Abyssinians?
Yeah, they lying through their teeth.
What, so you don't think Abyssinia were truly the people?
No, Abyssinians were a people, but there's no Christianity in Ethiopia until 330.
Well, I might be. I stand to be corrected now.
Yeah, prior to that, the Axiom Empire worshiped multiple gods. Prior to the Axiom, they were a combination of the Demit and the Sabians, and they worshiped multiple gods. They have never in their history worshiped anything Christian until 330 CE. And even Judaism didn't really come into their lands till after that. So nah, they ain't had none of that.
Yeah, see now that's now here's the misconception of knowing genealogy, chronicle events, chronology. I can't even say it, but anyway, and there's a lot of things that goes into it. But you have to remember that although Christianity or a majority of religions do not hold a timeline in regards to historical facts. They hold a timeline in regards to issues regarding spirituality. So it won't tell you all the wars that happen from one time to another time. It won't tell you how migration happened for a particular group of people.
But the Bible does.
Religion doesn't do that. So you can't say that Christianity defines history. It doesn't. It only defines religion defines the spirituality context of moralities of people. That's it.
Yeah, well, no, the Bible, and whether we're looking at the Torah or the Christian Bible, it defines chronological events that have proven to be false.
Well, I do see the thing about it is you are standing on one principle in regards to your evidence and proofs, and they are standing on theirs. So who is more right? Then we'll still be going in the same circle forever.
No. The one that can.
What you're saying is that you have all-knowing knowledge of all the events in the world that happen, and you're the only correct one on earth.
Nope, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that when the Bible claims that one of the disciples met the Ethiopian eunuch, and then he had the great Isaiah scroll, and he baptized him, and then he went back down into Ethiopia, and he converted them over into Christianity. What I'm saying is that the archaeological evidence that we have of the land of Ethiopia demonstrates that that didn't happen.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. See, that's the part I'm saying. Chronological and spirituality are two totally separate beasts. You can't tie them together. You can't.
Yes, I can.
You can't basically say you knew what a people believed at a specific point in time, and not only that, you can't define them in regards to boundaries. So you can't say just a specific area. How do you know like 2 or 3 of them didn't wander off somewhere else? I mean, see.
Yes, we can, because this Ethiopian eunuch was supposed to be the eunuch. According to Acts, this Ethiopian eunuch was the eunuch for the royalty of Ethiopia. And he supposedly came and converted that royalty over. That's what they claim that happened in 1st century. Early to mid 1st century. So they're claiming it at a certain time frame that it happened, but yet the evidence shows that the people of the Demit and Sabians at that time frame did not convert over to Christianity.
Okay. All right, there's a time frame too. We all know this is not to be true. That Jesus is that white boy that's up there with a blonde hair. He ain't never got no team. So, of course, chronologically, it don't work. I mean, it just, no matter how you can look at Christianity, from what aspect you look at it, from a white person's aspect of it, from a black person's aspect of it, from an African aspect, from a Chinese aspect, everybody's going to look at it differently the way that they perceive it to be.
Okay.
So, if you're looking at it like this, like you're saying, if Ethiopian has a claim to it that it started in their situation like it does, so does King James. That's the whole thing about it. Everybody has
an opinion or an idea of how it is supposed to be or how it was done. That's almost like saying, I always get this. I have this big issue. How in the hell can you tell me about a dinosaur bone when you have nothing to compare it to? Because nobody passed their piece of bone on for 1,000,000 years and said, I passed this on from my great granddaddy. I had this bone around his neck, and this belonged to the dinosaur that he slayed out in his backyard. So how do you prove that the damn thing is that old? You don't have no standard. You only guessing that carbon is supposed to be dated back to this by whatever kind of concept that you came up with some mathematical equation. We don't know. We have limited knowledge.
We do have limited knowledge, but I think you're going way off track on it because.
No, what I'm just saying.
Hold on. Hey, wait. Now, calm down. We do have the ability, not just using. I know a lot of people jump on carbon dating, and I recognize carbon dating can only go back so far. But we also use uranium dating. We also can tell the different time spans through geology and ice core samples and things of that nature. So when we find certain dinosaur bones or artifacts that are existing at a certain geological stage or has a certain uranium dating to them, then we get pretty damn close as to when said object existed.
All right, so how did they test it? They licked it before they had really personal, this new equipment. How did you know that the bone was that old? Just recently, only us as the new people in this world know that bone is that old.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's
almost here we go with this other little fallacy that I like about man and his unique identity or quality of being smart. Because I'm like this. You had this thing that's called a vacuum tube. It was glass, and it had this little thing in there, and they used to run computers off of it back in the day. We got these little things called chips, and we're using this thing that's called AI right now. We can talk to the phone and talk back to us, but we can't make it back to the moon. You understand? So you're going to tell me that because, man, have all of this knowledge, if you can do it then, you can do it now simpler. I'm trying to say exactly this right here. We're not the smartest people in the world. So sometimes we need to get off our high horse and say, hey, look, we don't know everything, but this is my opinion on the facts that I have opinion.
Nobody knows everything is a valid statement, and no man claims to know everything, but we do know what we know. And we've developed technologies and science over hundreds of years to be able to make these determinations and to correct what some people thought were facts. They thought that they found a big ass femur and they thought that it was a giant at one point. Then they found other parts and thought that they were dragons. But then as science grew in its knowledge and more techniques were discovered, then we come to realize, no, it wasn't no giant humans, nor was it a dragon. These were dinosaurs because we started finding complete. Hold on. No,
it's not saying something about giants.
Hold on. Dude. Hey, you got to remember whose podcast this is, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Giants,
I can do this.
Okay.
But don't do that. But don't do that to me. No, dude, we're having a good conversation, but you're starting to mess it up.
No, what I'm saying is you're right about giants. There are giants.
No, there are not giants, and stop doing this. Okay?
Oh, I see that those. There we go.
All right, stop doing that. All right. That's the quickest way to turn this conversation the wrong way. Now, I let you pontificate for a minute without interrupting you. All right, but I do reserve the right to interject things. But when I'm speaking on something, don't interrupt and try to loud and overtalk. That's not gonna work. Okay? And he dropped. So all I was trying to finish and say was the fact that once we started finding complete skeletons, then we were able to identify that these one-off bones here and there, or two or three, that they weren't giant people. that they were actually the femur of what we now know to be a dinosaur, because then when we test them and test the, you know, if there's DNA to be tested, like bone marrow, if some of that is still in there, we start to find out, oh, these have the same bone marrow, or they're relatable to this type of animal that we have on the planet. So this is how that information grows. And if you're going to say that, oh, we don't know nothing, but we've had a progression of technology in the same way that he talked about the progression of computer technology. But then you're going to dismiss that because you want to say that man knows everything. Man knows that it doesn't know everything. That is the idea of science. It is to have a hypothesis based on what evidence you have right now, test that hypothesis, see if it's correct. If it's correct to the point of your technology and knowledge, then you say it's a fact. But then once technology grows and we're able to go back and test it again, then we can say, oh, that information was incorrect because we lack the knowledge at that time frame to truly understand it or to truly know it. Religion has the problem of thinking that it knows all right now, from 2,000 years ago, from in Islam case 600, 1,400 years ago, and in Judaism case about 3,300 years ago, claiming that it knew something. But we have enough science and knowledge to know that it doesn't. And then we find within its own information, its own books, that it is false. Any book claiming that there were giants is false. Any book that claimed that somebody split the moon is false. Any claim that there's a God is false, because you cannot prove it. And we can see how things evolved or adapt. Yeah, I might have to cut that whole thing, and make a whole nother video and post that again. You crashed out a bit, bro. You crashed out. Yeah. Oh, he crashed out. But it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. People crash out all the time. And just as a reminder for anybody listening, if you want to pontificate all day, you are well within your right to create your own podcast. But I guarantee when you create it, you're going to establish some rules in your podcast. And you're going to expect people to acknowledge those rules. So if he crashed out because he don't like my rules, go start your own podcast. And you can do whatever you like. Hell, you sound like you retired like me. So you got all the time in the world, according to what he said, to do his own thing. Because he liked to talk. I ain't mad at him. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Oh, Vincent, he dropped. He dropped. YouTube and TikTok, y'all don't be want to come up here. I always find them on, YouTube and Facebook. It's all right. It's all right. I'm gonna keep posting the stream, the link for y'all. So make them raise their hand. There was a streaming app back in the day that you had to click the hand raise. Oh no, that's Zoom. Zoom, you have to click your hand. You have to do a hand raise. You can set it where people have to raise their hands in order to talk, and then you have to allow them to talk. I initially started to do these lives on Zoom so that I would have that control, but Zoom want to charge you too much money. So how do you this? So and let's see. This is what I like about myself. I'm gonna answer things honestly. How do you prove we're spending 1,000 miles per hour or 450,000 miles through space? This is through astrological measurements of the stars, the planets, light, and all that shit. Is the way we demonstrate that. We already know that the Earth is. We know the Earth is. Are you so flat earther, by the way? But we already know that the Earth is not flat. That the Earth is a sphere. And logically, in order for our sphere to have day and night, it has to rotate, right? And in order for, when you look at the size of the earth, the time it takes for day and night to occur are 23 hours and 56 minutes to occur. You can determine mathematically what speed the earth would have to rotate at that size in order to have day and night happen within the time frame that it happens. And so that's where you get your speed. Now, of course, like any ball, the top and bottom layer are going to move a little bit faster than the middle layer. But because of the law of inertia, you don't feel it, right? Kind of like the same way you can be driving down the street at 80 miles per hour and there's a fly in your car. And as long as you maintain that 80 miles per hour, because of the law of inertia, that fly is not going to, it's not feeling the 80 miles per hour. It's flying around inside the car with the 80 miles per hour because it's inside of an atmosphere at that time frame in your car. So that's why you don't feel it. And this is so stupid. This fool, you can't prove that. I just told you how to prove it. Stupid. Anybody who claims that there is a God is not so much, is one, yeah, they can't prove it. But the other aspect of it is that science demonstrates differently. Like science demonstrates adaptation. Science demonstrates that man was here longer than the time frame that every God claimed that they created man. So therefore, the God claim of them creating man or the universe or earth has all been proven to be incorrect. So it is also the proof that they are wrong in their statement disproves their God. See, if I was making a new God, then that God would have created the earth and the universe like 4.7 billion years ago. I wouldn't say make a God that created the earth 6,000 years ago. Last action.
How are you?
How old are you?
How's it, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 34.
34. All right, you're over 21. And are you a believer?
Yes, I'm a follower of Christ.
Okay. So you believe in Jesus of the Bible?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So was Jesus of the Bible the Jewish Messiah?
Yes, I must say.
Okay. How did?
Because he came from the Jews.
Okay. What prophecy did he fulfill to be? What messianic prophecy did he fulfill?
Okay. When we recall from Isaiah, they said that virgin shall give birth, and then we tend to find the New Testament. It did happen. So if we can recall from that, we can see that.
Okay. So
it was the promised one.
So let's go from that one. When's the last time you read Isaiah 7?
Isaiah 7. Tell me about it.
When's the last time you read?
Something I have to.
Okay, so Isaiah.
I can read it.
All right, so let me read the part that you're talking about, Isaiah 7. If you start out in the top of Isaiah, it says, in the day of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, king of Judah. So he's the king, right? And when you get down to the part that you're talking about, which is Isaiah 10, this is Isaiah coming to give this prophecy to King Ahaz. And he says, again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz saying, ask for a sign of the Lord, your God, because Ahaz was being attacked by two different other kings, right? Agree?
I'm following. Yeah.
Okay. So he says again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz, saying, ask for a sign from the Lord your God. Let it be deep in Sheol or high as heaven. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, I will not put the Lord to the test. Then Isaiah said, Hear then, O house of David. Is it too little for you to weary mortals that you weary my God also? Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, a young woman, because the word there is Alma, not Bethula. Bethula in the Hebrew would be virgin. Alma is a young woman. So he said, look, the young woman is with child, not going to be with child, but with child, and shall bear a son and name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey by the time he knows to refuse evil and choose good. For before the child knows how to refuse evil and choose good, here's the thing, the land before you, whose two kings you are in dread, will be deserted. The Lord will bring you and your people and on your ancestral house such days as have not come since the day of Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. So this is talking about a young woman who's already with child during the time frame of the reign of Ahaz, and that before that child knows to refuse evil and do good, King Ahaz will have defeated his enemies. This has nothing to do with Jesus. Oh, damn. I'm gonna say he lost his signal. I ain't gonna say he ran. I'm gonna say he lost his signal. We gonna go with that. We gonna go with he lost his signal, not ran. I didn't see when he left, so I don't know on what part I was saying that he left. But damn, that was too easy. You know, I'm just saying, if I was Christian, when I was Christian, I would have never come on my page. I'd have cut my ass off my page. That dude just rolled. User, what's your name?
Hey, is this me?
Oh, this Marion again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Man, put your name in this thing. Put me in user 8506, whatever.
All right. I heard you said somewhere.
Uh-huh.
You said like there's no true jazz, no this, no that, and no God.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay, when you said that, right? Okay, I can't knock your belief, but we started from somewhere. Whether it's the Big Bang, the Reservations of DNA, have a science and have people put it out here.
Mm-hmm.
They give you something to go out for, like you said, they threw it at us. Okay, but you gotta like pay attention. So you say you don't believe in God, but energy is a higher self. You know what I'm saying? And energy can come in a spirit form. Like, and I witnessed like entities that was not a human being. So yes, there is a higher energy, a higher presence that's amongst us. And to explain it, I can't.
Okay, but you would have to be able, in order to, so if you're going to make the claim that energy has a consciousness at a higher form, you have to be able to demonstrate by proving that that energy has a consciousness at a higher form. Otherwise, it's just your faith.
Oh, I don't have to prove it to you. It can prove it to myself, and I can go off of what I witnessed and I feel on my own. And I probably still can't explain it because you have so many scholars, so many people, like I ain't just pointing at you, can give so much about what they believe and what they learn, and still can be 100% incorrect.
So let me ask you this.
One thing I learned.
Let me ask you this question then. So when the Hindu says that it is through my experience that I know that Brahma is real, does that make it Brahma real?
What the man said through his experience.
Does that make it real?
Through that, hold up, listen to this. I'm cautious of the words I choose to use. Okay. You can't make me answer the question yes, no. I'm gonna let the man believe how he wanna believe. And if he do believe, yes, I believe it, according to him. But to me, my existence, probably never.
Okay.
I can't knock him in for his own belief.
Okay, I'm not knocking. What I'm saying is there's a difference between belief and facts. If your experience does not equal facts, is what I'm saying. So just because you have an experience and you subjectively say that this experience proves this God or that God or any other God, doesn't make it factual unless you can demonstrate it as facts.
Well, I'm gonna say, yeah, I can prove it. And the fact is that, okay, like I can get up out of the bed in the morning time, and put my piece on the floor, and go to the sink, wash my face, brush my teeth. All this fact, it prove I can do that. It's fact that I got running water in this bathroom. This fact is proof. The proof I got the strength to use these 2 legs to get up and
Yeah.
the proof is there. It's the same thing. My experience with these energies, it was there. Whether it's you was a witness to it or not, I was there. I experienced physically, mentally, and emotionally as well. So you can't take that away from me. I probably can't like explain it enough.
You're taking what I'm saying in the wrong direction. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. If that's your belief, that's your belief. You can keep and have your belief all day, but to make it facts is something totally different. And then when you say that you experience these things, what factual information makes it where it's the idea of God that you have? You see, you understand what I'm saying? Because another person have the same experience, but they say it's Brahma.
Could you say the last part over?
I said another person can have the exact same experience, but they would say it's Brahma instead of whatever, however you define God, which then makes it subjective.
I mean, okay, you heard the saying, someone may say tomato, someone may say tomato. So then what you just hit me with? Like, really? I mean,
Yeah, this is different from tomato and tomato.
Twist it up. You doing it. It's still conversation. Like, a lot. Like, you people's, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, you people. I have a sister just like you, man. Like, and I'm not putting you down, but sometimes y'all so stubborn and the Bible says stiff-necked, but you kind of, you pull yourself away from the Bible. And I listen to everything you demonstrate. You trying to totally destroy everything about someone else believe, because someone else still believe in the Bible, just because you had a different awakening, you had a different experience, and yet still, it's somewhere in your heart you still believe in a man named Jesus Christ because you got him on tip of your tongue.
No, I don't believe in Jesus at all. There's not one aspect of me.
This whole screen was about the Bible.
What is the name of my channel? Do you know?
Oh, my bad. I couldn't read that. It was in red.
The name of my channel is called Deconstructing Christianity. The purpose of this channel is to help people who are in the process of deconstructing from Christianity.
Christianity, I understand.
Right. So the reason why the only time I talk about this is during these podcasts or the videos I make. The rest of my day is not spent talking about this at all, unless I meet someone who brings up the conversation. So Jesus is not on the tip of my tongue other than when I'm doing this. Now, the other part of that, the other side of that coin is I don't go out and find and tell people, come to my channel if you disagree with me. They choose themselves to come here. So when they do, it is the burden of proof comes on them to prove their end of the argument. And I'm going to prove my end of the argument. But I'm using facts to prove mine. Whereas everybody else, these other people are just using subjective information based on experiences, testimonies, or the contradictions that are in their Bible. And not having, and them being stiff-necked to not accept. Because if you've been listening, you've seen 2 people jump off real quick because they didn't want to accept the information from their own book. Now, so how is that me when they don't want to accept the information from their own book?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, when I say people, it's not an argument. And we shouldn't have to, like, our belief should never be an argument. And if a person lost or just isn't conscious, like where you may be, or maybe having that experience what you have, you know, when their time comes, they're gonna get it. You know, because when I'm saying I'm gonna include myself in there, when we trying to share and teach, sometimes we lose people. Sometimes people are saying we contradict ourselves. And that's how it was a long time with me while we're reading the Bible. I said, man, the Bible saying this, you know, I said it. At the same time, folks are saying for something. And yet at the same time, when we have these conversations, they're so easily, effortlessly turn to debates, man. And that's not something that I don't like. I think every man should be free to believe what his belief gonna send him to heaven or hell if they do exist.
Every man is free to their own beliefs, but instead of chastising me for having this conversation, maybe you should chastise them for coming on to the show. Because if you didn't hear me? Did you hear me? So every man, woman, and child has a right to their own beliefs. I agree. But in having that right to your own belief, if they decide to come onto a podcast that is different from their belief, the chastisement should not be geared towards the podcast, but towards that person for choosing to come onto this podcast. Because they are the ones turning it into a debate when they choose to come on.
Well, forgive me for doing so. I'm not trying to do this, boss. But, you know, I was to these other guys, they were making their point, they making reasons. And, like, you so solid on what you believe, man, they don't even have a chance. Like, it's not even getting through because they doing their best to explain. And someone else may get it from their point of view. But you...
Yeah, but
I'm stop.
When I point out that they're...
You deconstructing.
And when I show them that their book is wrong, and they don't want to accept it and they run, that ain't my fault. That's their fault for not understanding their own book. And when they make claims like Muhammad split the moon, and there's zero proof of that, and the actual proof is that the moon has never been split. What is the person supposed to get from that? Why would a person believe something that is completely false?
I mean, I've never heard of it. And when I heard it, I didn't think nothing of it, you know, because so much stuff, you got the right to take in what you want to take in.
Yeah, but no, hold on. You don't have the right to take in whatever you want to take in the sense of wrong. When that Muslim guy, you were still on here when that first Muslim guy got on here and he said Muhammad split the moon. We know factually that the moon has never been split. So so you're wanting to allow someone to keep on spouting that when it's completely false?
No, I wouldn't.
Then I'm not wrong for demonstrating to him that his information is incorrect.
I think I'm finna run out the box now because I can't have it.
All right, Mary. Put your name on your damn thing so I know who you are.
Man, this new phone, I just opened TikTok up. I ain't trying to go through all of it, but I'll do it some other time.
It's real simple. On your profile page, all you got to do is hit edit, and you can change the name. Edit your profile.
I'll do that.
All right, man. Talk to you.
I'm gonna stick around.
All right. Later. Mary about to become one of my favorites. Vincent, unmute your mic.
How you doing?
How you doing, Vincent?
44.
40. You're 44?
Yep.
Well, I'm 54. Can't wait to be 55.
All right.
Are you a believer, Vincent?
Used to be. No, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think I ever really was.
Okay. That's
but I was.
Honest question.
I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah. So, long story short, with what I've seen in my life, I can't believe it.
You said what you've seen in your life, you can't believe it?
Yeah.
What did you see in your life that made you not believe it?
my mother go to church every Sunday
Mm-hmm.
and become had a very ill life, and it didn't make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, see, you just
So
got church.
you said what?
I'm playing devil's advocate. So you just got
Oh,
church hurt.
I ain't church hurt. I just pay attention to reality.
All right. And so after you seen that those things, your mom was not living, the life wasn't happening, that the prayers weren't being answered, I'm assuming, and negative things were happening. Did you then go do further research to make a full determination, or was it just that experience enough?
It wasn't just that. It was also I was in high school one day, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be black and Native American, but I don't have none of that culture. And why do I have this culture that I have? So
Okay.
that's when I had epiphany when I was in high school, but I didn't do no research. But then when I started meditating, I had an experience, and that's what made me, go down a rabbit hole. Not as deep as you are, because you know your stuff. You got that photographic memory. I don't have that. I wish I did,
I wish I
but
had a
it seemed like it.
Nah, I don't know. I do have good recall, so I take that one. Uh, so you had an experience, but then you started going down a rabbit hole after your experience. And so when you so you made a good statement there that I want to dig into a little bit. You asked about, you have none of your Native American culture, you have none of your African culture, and so how did you do? What discovery made you recognize that this Christianity is not from either one of those cultures?
Because it's from the Levant.
Simple and straight. That's what I like. Right. That's what I was trying to explain to the other guy, that my ancestors have never had anything to do with this until it was forced on them. None of my ancestors. Even when I look at my white ancestors, it was forced on them. So why would I accept a religion from a small little piece of town that was forced on every ancestor that I know of? So it makes no sense. I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. And so I shouldn't believe, I would be better off believing in Ifa, would be more closely related to me than believing in this God.
And now, since I didn't went down this rabbit hole, I've kind of become a occultist, chaos magician, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that you can believe in anything. Like I could get a statue of Isis and burn some candles, and she's gonna show up in my dreams.
You
I could
say
do the
she's
same
going to?
thing. I could do the same thing with a dark, a bad guy like Lucifer or Satan or I don't know Ganesh or Osiris. They will show up in my dreams because I do meditate. I do what I do, so they will show up.
Okay.
Do I really
So
believe? Do I really believe these beings are real, or do I believe it's just a projection from my own mind? I believe it's a projection from my own mind, my own
you
belief.
you knew that's where I was going. You knew I was going to ask that question.
I mean, I could get a gnome, and
Yeah,
guess what? That little gnome gonna beat me up all night.
exactly. I'd have recognized that, and I've done it on purpose, practiced it, that if I focus on certain things, that it's a good high percentage that those things are going to show up in my dreams, right? Now,
Yeah,
I get the every now and then something that I was not thinking about at all, and that shit show up. But I recognize that those things, I've come to recognize that some of those things are still just emotional ties that I may have, right? Uh,
yeah,
for instance, give you an example. It hurt me when I got divorced from my kid's mom, it hurt me to my core of some of the friends that I thought were my friends and how they treated me afterwards. So for decade, at least a decade, I wasn't thinking about them, but I would every now and then have this dream about them treating me like trash. And that let me know that I still had an emotional tie to those people, how they treated me after that the hurt was still there for how they treated me. So, I had to go through and do some more work on my own emotions so that I don't allow the pain from that experience to still be a part of my life, be a part of my mindset, my emotional set. So I'm with you. Your dreams are really projections of what's emotionally and mentally within you. Oh shit, he fell. I don't know. Did you hear everything that I said? Yeah, I know you fell off. You're muted right now, though. So why isn't my name showing up? Don't know. Something's going on with Vincent. I don't know what's going on with Vincent. His signal must be messing up or something. I might do a lot about dreams. I like dreams. I don't know why it's not working, Marion, as far as your name showing up. You should just be able to go into your profile and click on the link and edit your profile, and it should come over you can edit your name. E.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you over 21, E?
Yes, sir. 25 years old.
25. You a believer?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
What you call it? So, yeah, like I said, I'm not a believer, but I just wanted to say, first of all, you are a wise dude. I'm not trying to get on here and just, and just whatever, but for real, because we like to throw that word around, wisdom this, wise that, and people are giving like sharecropper wisdom, you know what I mean? And it's so I appreciate what you're doing, you know what I mean?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of came to an epiphany very recently to where I kind of like, because it used to really annoy me when people like were just so inconsistent, like logically, with pertaining to this topic, you know what I'm saying? And they were so adamant that it made sense somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I came to the realization recently to where I said, you know what? It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they might hold on to these asinine beliefs and be worse people because of it and be harmful because of it.
Oh, most sure.
But like it's really for their survival. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like that, and you may, I'm not overly familiar with, all your points. You may feel like that as well, but looking at it like that, I realized like, okay, like it gave me a different approach to how, like, you know what I'm saying, I'll discuss this topic,
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you that so many people are so emotionally tied into this that if it was stripped away from them, they wouldn't know how to live their life. I actually got some family members that I know that if it was taken away from them, which is why I don't talk to them about this type of stuff, that they would not know how to live their life and would probably go into such a deep level of depression that either the rest of their lives is going to be ruined or they may take their life. I don't think they'll take their life because they're stronger than that, but the rest of their lives will be ruined.
Like the turmoil would be like catastrophic. Like,
yeah.
It would be hard to describe.
Yeah, I got one aunt. I would never have this conversation with her. Anytime she even mentions God, I will walk away. She's the only person I will just walk away from. Because I just know, because like you said, it's so ingrained that she can't help it, that she wouldn't know what to do with herself.
Right, and I think, I don't want to just say, oh, it's sad, because it's like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm so mentally ahead of people, But like, what I will say is really, really, really unfortunate is just the fact that it keeps like it's truly a chain that just really keeps people from advancing. You know what I mean? It's like people have, for example, like the hate against like the LGBTQ, like people have real hatred and all in their heart for that. And it's like, if we remove that one layer right there by itself, we'd be making so much headway. We'd be, going against the people who actually destroying us. People, how many millions of us black Christians have more hatred for gay people than they do for Donald Trump? You see what I'm saying? And it's funny, but it's like when you really break it down, you're like, damn, this mindset that my people have is destroying us. Because look at what we're doing.
No, I agree 100% that people have aligned themselves with this religion to the degree that is their mindset. And I did a video. It's 2 videos I want to give you a brief on. I did a video yesterday where basically I demonstrated how secular countries, the people there have a greater and better lifestyle than countries like America that's trying to push for theology, push for a theocracy. And then the other thing, I did a video way back. That feedback is killer. Thank you. I did another video way back where I was talking about the fact that if it wasn't for religion, our advancements in science would be so far ahead of where we are today. When you look at how many scientific advancements were stalemated because of religion. Now, I know some religious people were scientists, but a lot of them had to hide their scientific achievements or thought process because the religion declared them a heretic or something like that. But we'd be so far ahead if it wasn't for religion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Yeah, it's a lot to think about, but I said my piece. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, E.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. E scared me for a minute. I thought he was a different E that lives here in San Antonio. I was gonna say, oh man, I'm finna mess up my cigar business. Because E is my supplier. He's gonna be my distributor, my distribution. And he's very, very Christian. Vincent, you got your life together?
Man, I don't know what happened. I disconnected my phone from the charger and it just went dead.
You must have an iPhone.
Yeah, it's an iPhone.
I give you an iPhone. Shit, I forgot where we left off.
Man, I didn't even hear what you were saying. You was telling me about something, but I did what it did. But what happened was, I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I was looking at a lot of self-help stuff and blah 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 blah. So I started meditating, and I used to say the Our Father prayer every time before I meditate, all the time, and then afterwards, because that's how I was taught to pray. And I go meditation, nothing happened. It'd just be complete blackness. Then one morning I was like, how about you just meditate and don't pray and see what happened? And I did it. Then my heart palpitations, whatever this shit's called.
Yeah.
And then in my third eye, I seen a flame. And then I was like, what the fuck? And I opened my eyes. And then everything changed. And then I had to discover what was this flame. And the only place I found the flame is either a jinn in Islam, or I read autobiography of Yogananda, and he says, if you believe in Jesus, you're going to see Jesus. If you believe in Krishna, you're going to see even Krishna. If you walk a different path, you're going to see a flame.
Right.
And that was the only answer I got. Then I'll go talk to priests, monks, and everything. They wouldn't tell me nothing. I talk to Catholic priests, they tell me, go, you're just going to need some time by yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I talk to a Buddhist monk, they don't say nothing. Them Buddhist monks is stingy.
No, they ain't stingy. I ain't gonna let you get the Buddhist monks like that. Buddhist monks and Taoist monks are going to let you find your own way and not try to push you in any direction whatsoever.
Okay.
So I understand you wanted answers, but a Buddhist monk, a good Buddhist monk or a Taoistic monk, they might ask you certain questions, but the whole goal of it is to get you to find it for yourself.
Yeah, but even the Catholic priest, he did the same thing. He was like, you need to spend some time by yourself.
He just didn't have an
So,
answer.
no, they be knowing. They know. Why you think they practice celibacy? Celibacy, whatever it's called.
Well, they practice it now, but at one point they didn't. They went back and forth on whether or not a monk should have a wife or not, because
Um,
I mean, I, at, in the beginning, you had to have a wife because they were kind of still following the Jewish, uh, what's it called, the rabbinical Judaism. They were following. So rabbinical Judaism didn't start till after Jesus, which is odd that they called Jesus rabbi because rabbinical Judaism didn't start for like 30, 40 years after Jesus. All right. But they were looking at the rabbinical system, and the rabbinical system, you have to have a priest has to have a wife. And then somebody else changed it. I forgot who changed it to not having a wife. And then I think they had a wife again. And then now they don't have a wife. But I think John Paul, I don't know if you're old enough to remember Pope John Paul, but I think
I
he
don't
was,
keep. I don't keep up with them popes.
yeah, he was talking about it was either him or the person who came after him. They were debating on whether or not priests should be able to have wives again. So that's something they've been flip flopping back and forth with. They don't know because it's either they're going to Paul. See, Paul said that you should be celibate, right? If you can. So they were following Paul in that thought process.
From my own personal practice, I realize that celibacy works, and also realize like if you're in a real serious committed relationship and it's real love, that works too. So I kind of get the contradiction or the flip flop.
Yeah, but then hold on, let me mess with you a bit. But then in Genesis, God said that man should not be alone; that he should have a helpmeet. And then it also says that bishops and deacons should be men of one wife instead of polygamy.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. I
No,
know.
you see how
Every time I start reading the Bible, I start reading all that stuff. I'm like, man, it's it's crazy. People tell you to start going through things, read the Bible. And I remember my brother, he did it too. My brother called me. He's like, man, you see it said in the Bible? I'm like, yeah, that book is a trip.
yeah. Now, let me
So,
give you. Paul was also saying that if you should abstain from marriage uh, because Paul thought that Jesus was going to return before he died. So that's the reason Paul was saying it. It really had nothing to do with how leaders should be in the church. He was just saying that Jesus is going to come back before I die. So let's focus just on Jesus if you can. Not but because if you have a wife or a husband, then you're going to be focusing on your wife and husband instead of Jesus. So he was saying that was just his opinion, and that you should be celibate. And he can take that opinion and go and kick rocks off it
mm,
because ain't nothing like the pum pum.
yeah, that kitty cat
It could be your
caused a
greatest.
lot of problems. Caused a lot
Yeah.
of problems too.
Well, it could be your greatest asset, or it could be your greatest adversary, depending upon who wielding it or how you deal with it. Depending on how you deal with it, put it that way. I've seen many a potential man ruined for pum pum, and I've seen many a woman ruined for some ping ping.
But as far as am I a believer, I still believe there's something, whatever you want to call it. Unless it's just, I
That's
think it's
just your
in all of
belief.
us. Yeah,
So is that
and
your
it's a belief. I can't prove it. I
okay?
can't prove it. I can't prove my experiences to anybody. This is my own personal experiences.
Yeah,
But it's
and
just
that's
this world is so creative that I feel like there's just something, whether it's all of us or I don't think it's one being, but I think it's something. I'm more like a what's that dude name? Damn, I can't think of his name.
Dude,
The one
agnostic.
they
Well,
the one they built the one they built the Star Wars off of Mecca. I forgot that Christian religion.
a Christian religion built off Star Wars.
No, they think
Well,
Star Wars is built off that Christian religion. I can't think of his name. I don't think I want to say it's Mac
yeah.
or something. I can't
Come on,
think
the
of the name
Maccabees.
right now. What's a Maccabee?
The Maccabees were a kind of powerful family during the time frame that the Jewish people
No,
were
it ain't.
under Greek
No,
control,
it
and
ain't that.
they revolted and established their own state within the Greek
No, it's
empire.
not that. It ain't that. I wish I had another phone so I could look it up real quick. No,
Yeah.
I ain't talking about that.
No, that's interesting though. Trust, I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up and I'll make a video about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get on the computer right now. See if I can find it real fast.
Yeah, because that's interesting. I know that there are a lot of religious connotations
You
or
could just
tin.
probably Google it right now, like Star Wars, like the Christian religion. It's like a Christian religion mixed with Buddhism. They died out though. I think they got killed off for heretics or something.
Um,
You know all these heretics. The religion was full of heretics.
it says that Star Wars was not based on a single religion, but is a blend of multiple religions and philosophical influences, most notably Eastern religions like Taoism, Buddhism, as well as Judaism and Christianity. But George Lucas drew from multiple traditions. Uh, and I can see that with the force and the balancing of the force and
What's his
all that.
name? Luke?
George Lucas,
No, I'm talking about Luke Skywalker.
yeah, and him being the promised one who was going to balance the force. I can see that. I mean, I can see it within the Star Wars little whatever they call it in their little pantheons or how they messed it up with that metachlorine. But I understand why he added that. That's kind of going into the more metaphysical aspects of energy. That metachlorine is all around you, and everyone has it, but some people have a higher concentration of it, and all that sort of thing. So they become great force users. But no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. That is an interesting. I still might make a video about that.
Man, well, I will let you know, but I'm on my phone. I don't want to mess with it because it's part Manichaeism. I found it.
Who?
Manichaeism.
Wait, hold on. Spell that again. MAN. Mandeism?
I didn't know about this. That
Is it Mandeism?
all these different sects, like Christian
Is it?
Bloods, and I'm in LA, by the way.
Can you hear me? Vincent.
Yeah.
Vincent. Vincent.
And this shit froze again.
Can you hear me?
Freezing. No, maybe he's looking it up. Man, this shit freezing. It keeps freezing. This shit sucks. This app is whack.
Vincent.
It always do this. This is when I have when I talk too much fucking truth. This fucking phone always do weird shit.
Vincent.
That's why I don't like talking about this shit.
Okay, ain't gonna let Vincent get messed up. Y'all ain't finna hear his background. We're not gonna listen to Vincent's background information. Vincent, I don't know if you can hear me, but we could still hear you when you was talking and your lady started talking. We ain't gonna eavesdrop on you like that. We're gonna eavesdrop on you. But I think you meant the Manichaeans. Mandeism. It's also known as Nestorianism, Nestoriate, something. Sabonism is. It's a Gnostic monotheistic ethnic religious group with Latin, Greek, Iranian, Jewish influences, adherent to Mandeism, revere Adam, Abel, Seth, Enosh, Noah, Seth, and Aram, especially John, and especially John the Baptist. Okay, I ain't never heard of that one, to be honest. I ain't never heard of that one. Man, we're still talking. Like, tired of this shit. Keep freezing. But Vincent, I don't know if you're still there, but we could hear everything you were saying. This fool. TikTok, y'all wouldn't be able to see it, but y'all or Nah said use the Swartz. May the Swartz be with you. We ain't found shit. If you ain't never seen Spaceballs, then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. You wouldn't know what I'm talking about on that. But ooh, okay. Let me put the link out there again for my YouTubers and Facebookers to be able to see it. But it's interesting. He said that he think there might have been many gods. One of the things that I always found that I've recently been like looking at is the fact that this whole concept of this divine council, which demonstrates how the early Israelites were polytheistic, and then you can see their movement from polytheism to henotheism. Well, even when they were polytheistic, they were still henotheistic, but then moved more into a generalized henotheism where their God was only for them and they didn't believe in the other gods, and then how they moved to monotheism. And one of the things that led me to, and I was thinking about doing a video about the woman that Jesus called a dog, that this Canaanite woman, like, I'll always question, why would she go and talk to Jesus? But that's because if she was Canaanite, then she would have been believing in El and his cohort Asherah. And in first century, they still revered Yahweh. And so since Jesus was revering Yahweh, then that would justify why she still came to this Jesus, because he's still within her pantheon of belief. So her faith wasn't so much in Jesus, but was her faith more in the fact that Jesus believed in Yahweh, which was one of her deities. What do y'all think about that? I might dig a little deeper before I do the video about that, because I have to research. I was in the process of researching last night. I was up to like 2 in the morning. So when I'm up late and my mind is going, I just be looking up stuff. But first century Canaanites still revered Yahweh, but he was still just the son of El and Asherah to them. Because this is Vince. Every time I talk, this device, it'd be true. Oh, Manichaeism. Thank you for let me. Oh, you're a pantheist. Okay. So you believe in that there's multiple gods now are unified into one type of in this oneness with the whole heavenly council idea. Yeah, dude, we could hear what y'all was talking, you and your lady talking in the background, by the way, just to let you know you were still on. You just couldn't hear me, but we heard you was telling her she always freeze. Every time I be telling the truth, I always freeze. And she's like, yeah, it's something. And I heard it during LA. So next time I'm in LA, I'll let you know. It's sometime next year, I will be in LA. I know for guaranteed, because when I go to San Diego to see Brandon, we gonna go to LA no matter what. Most likely be during basketball season when I can catch a game. So Mani. Let's see if that comes up. Mani. I thought he said Mani. There you go, popped up. Manichaeism. So that's different. Manichaeism was an ancient dualistic religion founded by the prophet Mani in Persia around 3rd century CE, which blended elements of Zoroastrianism, Christianity, Buddhism. Its central belief was that the world is a battleground between two opposing forces, the spiritual realm of light and the matter realm of darkness. Followers sought to escape the matter world, which was considered inherently evil, through asceticism and the acquisition of knowledge, believing that the soul could be liberated and reunited with the light. Okay. Yeah, that is definitely a mixture of Christianity, I mean Zoroastrianism, Gnostic Christianity, not Christianity, and Buddhism. But since this was 3rd century, that would have been around, that's in the 200s CE, when Gnosticism was very big in the Mediterranean area and the Mesopotamian area. So, and they added that Buddhist asceticism. Actually, Buddhism kind of went away from us. Buddhism goes away from asceticism when, according to the story, when Siddhartha was practicing Hinduism, and then when he went to go seek out God, he practiced a type of Hinduism that believed that, and asceticism is when you kind of like, you give up all your earthly and possessions, you eat like the least amount that you could eat, you drink the least amount you could drink until you get to a point where you're not hardly eating, not hardly drinking. But when he started Buddhism, he went away from the ascetic portion of that and believed that in order to truly reach nirvana, you had to accept the beauty and bounty of life. So the fact that they put Buddhism in there, although there are still sects of Buddhists who practice asceticism, and you can find asceticism in a lot of different places. Jesus telling the rich young ruler to give up all your possessions and give it to the poor and then just follow me is a type of asceticism. You know, I don't, because Buddha was talking about you have to deny desire. And so I guess you can still look at it as asceticism, but you can never get rid of desire. And I like one philosopher said, in order to give, you have to have the desire to give up desire. But if you have the desire to give up desire, then you still have desire. Yeah. And this is why every time y'all see the fat Buddha, that's not Siddhartha. The fat Buddha was a later Buddha, not a reincarnation, but just a later Buddha, because everybody, according to Buddhism, everybody can reach Buddhahood, right? Which is just a state of conscious being. And honestly, they say that it's a state of conscious being that's like 2 levels higher than Christ consciousness. But yeah, but Manny, he started his, and that's the thing. You can start a religion anytime. When we say that religion is created by man, it is easily demonstrated throughout history how different religions have been created. Right? Mani created his own version of a religion by taking parts from other religions that are familiar to people and merging them into one with a newer, a different understanding, a little spin on it. And then, if it sounds good, it's always going to sound good to somebody. So you're a little Buddha, fat and cute. Do I have one in here? It's my little bookshelf Buddha. Put the books in there. Or actually, there's 2 of them. It's supposed to be able to put one on each end, and then you got your books in the middle. This ain't Siddhartha. This ain't the Siddhartha, because he still got a little cheapness to it. But it's a good bookend. I got another Buddha. I think it's in that window next to Shango. I got Shango in my window too. Let me be fair. I like this one. Who knows who this is? Yeah, I just told y'all, so that's not fair. That's not good. I kind of messed it up. Y'all know who this is? Marion said this is Nat Turner. Not Nat Turner. Marion said that's Nat Turner. That's Shango, the thunder god, the Ifa thunder god. Oh yeah, it's thunder or lightning. I don't know. He's storm deity, but thunder and lightning specifically. Yeah, he will be equivalent to the Norse Odin. I mean Norse Loki. I'm saying every name but the right name. Thor, the Norse Thor. So if you took the Norse Thor That's Shango. Now, Shango was invented before the Norse idea of Thor, but yeah, because the people saw lightning and thunder, and they took a guy who was a great warrior named Shango, they deified him and made him into a thunder and lightning god who was the god of the warriors and god of the storm. So that's Shango. Right? It just demonstrates how people create deities. They create these gods. These gods are not manifested until somebody think it up and make it and create it for themselves. Right? I guess that's the laughing Buddha. No, he just got a little smile on his face. He ain't laughing. But the laughing Buddha, yes, that's the fat one. The first one looked like Shiva a bit. That first, my little silver dude. Yeah, okay, maybe. I don't think I have a Shiva. I don't have Shiva. I saw this one statue of Kali. I want Kali. I want a statue of Kali. Kali, my chick. Her and Rainy Newtet. Force be with you.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Lorenzo?
How you doing, Obi-Wan?
Good, bro. Good, bro. Just
We were
checking
just
in.
talking about you.
What?
Yeah, Vincent. We were talking about how Star Wars was based on this combination of religions.
Oh, that it was based off. I didn't know that. That's true.
Yeah, we looked it up, and yeah, it's based on some Christianity and Buddhism and Taoism, some Judaism, all that stuff.
See, didn't even know. I know they have that character, like the Yoda and all that. Those supposed to be like wise, but I didn't know that. That.
Yeah, Yoda would be like Buddha. Oh, hold on for a second. Akush Shango is from Ifa. So the Yoruba ancestry religion. But yeah, so now I'll just answer her question real quick.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that. Yeah, with me more so on the Igbo side, like with that ancient spirituality religion stuff is different. If someone who's deconstructing, I mean, if you still want to hold on to like the idea of God, shoot, those African ancestral religions, especially like Yoruba and Igbo, they kind of, it takes you away from that Abrahamic stuff, and it doesn't, the concepts are more like with cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But hey, with this topic though, on the Messiah, Jewish Messiah or God, as far as Jesus, like, yeah, I don't believe, because Jews say they don't believe in Jesus is the Messiah because he didn't fulfill the prophecies, right, of the Old Testament.
Right. Yep. Not a
Okay.
one.
Yeah, so that, and I'm not good at like one of them. I'm not good at like off the top of the dome, just like coming off with Bible scriptures, but um, I definitely have heard where some of the cases that they made and said, "Oh, this prophecy is not Jesus because, boom, somebody else already fulfilled it before, and it was for that time."
It depends on what a person is talking about. Like I've heard people say that Moses prophesied Jesus because he was supposed to come after Moses, and because Joshua came after Moses, and since Yeshua actually means Joshua, then Joshua fulfilled that prophecy. But I don't see, there's no real prophecy about Joshua coming after Moses. It's just the God of this book told Moses that Joshua is going to be the next guy. So it wasn't a prophecy. He just gave him instructions like, you about to die, and Joshua going to take over. And he was like, bet. and then somehow he wrote about it after his death.
Mm.
So it wasn't a prophecy. A lot of the things that Christians call prophecies are not actually prophecies at all. Yeah. So they
And
don't
then
even.
with the whole Jesus not being God, that's what used to confuse me when I was a kid, because right from childhood, the people I grew up around, they always prayed. When they pray, it was Jesus was always in the prayer, like Jesus, like it's like you
Mhm.
praying to Jesus, and it's like all the prayers, and then um, I know that I think that there is a scripture, it's probably somewhere in the New Testament, where there's a story of Jesus talking to somebody and saying, "Do you believe I'm God?" or that "Do you believe?" and ask him. So that used to confuse me when people would be like, "Oh, no, there's a Trinity. There's the Father, Son, and Holy." But I thought that there was also scriptures where Jesus was like saying like that he was God, or do I have that messed up?
So that was a lot. So there are. You might be thinking about, in one part of what you were saying, you might be thinking about where Jesus was asking the disciples, "Who do you say I am?" And they were all giving different answers. And Peter is the one who kind of gave the best answer. And then he said that upon this rock I will build my church. He wasn't talking about Peter, and that's where the Catholics get Peter as being the first pope. Uh, but he was talking about the statement that Peter made is what the church will be built on, as far as asking who he is. You don't get into any claims that Jesus is God until you get to John, First John, and First John and First John is the one who kind of proclaimed Jesus to be God, which of course John and First John are being written 70 plus years after all the events are supposed to have happened. So they just adding shit to the script. But because the parts in the other synoptic gospels where Jesus says that he and the Father are one, and if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. When the one way he says that me and the Father are one, you go a chapter over, and he's telling the disciples that you and I are one. So, and he's utilizing the same words. So he obviously doesn't mean that he is God. He's just saying that as long as we are unified, we are one, like in a team. And if you've seen me, you've seen he said, no one has seen the Father, but if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. He was talking about in his actions, in his ways, what he's saying, what he's doing. You've seen the evidence of the Father based on how he acts and the things he does. So he wasn't making himself to be God in that instance either. So it's kind of like my son saying, if you've seen the way he is about certain things, then you've seen me, his dad, because he does it the way I do.
Gotcha. So he never really professes that he is. It's just kind of like a roundabout way of just saying that um, it's a unified thing.
Yeah, like we're all God in the sense of demonstration through our acts and activities and thoughts and how we treat ourselves and other people, but not actually God.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the Hermetic axiom? The all is in all, but all are not the all.
No.
So it's kind of like that. That's called a divine paradox, where it's saying the all, which would be God, is in all things, but all things are not God.
Got you.
Which
Okay. When you break it down like that, I've heard that concept. Uh, uh, that has been expressed to me before. Now you saying that's what Christianity is supposed to? That's how Christians are supposed to follow, as far as like their understanding, or is that just?
it is until John wrote that bullshit that John wrote. Whoever wrote John and First John, until those two were written, yeah. That's why you had the
Never heard
Gnostics.
it.
That's why the Gnostics were able to grow and become what they were, because they didn't have that John and First John bullshit.
See, I never heard it broke down like that before. Like the shift. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
never heard it broke down like, oh, there was a change within the book where as far as like how it's supposed to be not practiced but interpreted.
Yeah, because even Jesus interprets things in ways that weren't interpreted the same way when he quotes certain scriptures. Uh, he interprets it in a way that wasn't the purpose when it was written. Like in Matthew 22, he quotes Psalms 110, but he quotes Psalms 110 incorrectly because he that Psalms 110 was being applied to David at that time frame and what David was going through. It had nothing to do with him and what he was going through at that time frame, but it's how the Jews thought about it by that time. You know, he does that again in John 13. He does it again. He does it again in John 13. He does it again in Luke 4. Because if you compare Isaiah 61 to Luke 4, Jesus is quoting from Isaiah, but he doesn't quote the whole thing, right? And when he doesn't quote the whole thing, and then he says that he has fulfilled these things, he cannot have fulfilled those things because Isaiah 61 is talking about how Israel is going to be reestablished at that time frame. So him saying that he establishes those things at that time frame, he clearly didn't have everything that Isaiah 61 had at the time frame, or had a different understanding of it. To say that he completes those things because he didn't complete it because Israel was not established at the time frame of Jesus. He did not sit on the throne as a king, so he could not have completed Isaiah 61. But he was reading it based on his understanding how the culture thought about it at that time frame, which is about 400 years after the Babylonian captivity. Well, it's more than
That's
400 years actually.
that's another thing I don't get too. Like with that whole, the king of the Jews thing and all that. Like as far as the way the story is told, Jesus was never the person was never a king. You know what I'm saying? It was never like it was always like like the prophet, teacher, service,
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so. And I don't even understand why people don't question, because every time when you pose these type of things to a believer, they just gonna tell you that you don't have an understanding of the text.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's their cop out. Oh, you're not seeing it through spiritual eyes, or you don't have the mind of God, or you're leaning on your own understanding. Well, dude, you're leaning on your own understanding. This whole Holy Spirit and God's understanding is some make believe shit in order for you to continue to believe your narrative. But that's what they always say because they refuse to accept their own book.
My goodness, yeah. So I mean, with it, as far I mean, again, like if you present that type of information and you still reject it, like you just just brush it off as to be nonsense or underneath you because you have this strong belief in a faith. I don't know. That's on you because like I said, that's a when you talk about other religions like unification and stuff. Some of even the African ancient religions, they kind of have that same understanding. Like we're all connected because, and of course they have the believing of a supreme being, creator being. So they just say that the same thing. We all connected because we all have that within us. It doesn't have the same storyline as far as having saviors and stuff. In
Mm-hmm.
those cultures, they didn't believe that they were born into sin, so they didn't need salvation. So it's just more like an experience, but it's a shared experience with
Mm-hmm.
your ancestors and these deities that they have assigned to really just different um, what you call it elements of
Yeah,
life.
different elements of life and nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this hey, it's funny. You might not have been here earlier when this Muslim guy was on here trying to tell me that a prophet was sent to everybody at certain time frames. I'm like, there was no prophet ever sent from this Middle Eastern area to my ancestors who was in Nigeria. They ain't never heard of them motherfuckers. They ain't never had nothing to do with them. Sure, they're gonna have similarities in some of their behavioral laws based on their religion, but that's just a thing of having civilization. Every civilization is going to outlaw murder and theft and thievery at some point. Otherwise, the civilization can't survive. So, but at no time did any biblical person go to sub-Saharan Africa. Never happened. This shit was forced on them, but even the belief that they had is not connected to their beliefs. It's just connected to civilization and cultures, how they formed similar opinions and thought processes. And yeah, it's based on nature.
Yeah, I mean, you right. If that's what you told the person, that's perfect because that's true. Like, I had to break it down for myself, just to get my own understanding as far as like what is this deity about? Um, why do they call this this name and this and that was just their understanding of the ancient people with how they're gonna connect with, like you said, nature.
Yeah.
And I, and the thing is though, these if you look at life just, and I'm not saying anybody can use a religion to, oh, that's okay.
Chango. They saw lightning and heard thunder. There's a God. He's the one. He's
Boom,
the
boom. That's cool. Hey, that's exactly how it went right there. That object, it's not saying that object is the one that created it. It's just a representation.
yeah. That's all. It's just a representation of what they believe. And but now they did believe that King Chango became a thunder and lightning god, right?
Okay.
And you see how Marvel adapted the axe. Now that
Ah,
no, I don't know if I can't say that. I don't know if Thor ever had an axe in their mythology before Marvel did it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that research that. But yeah, but this was the thunder and lightning god, same as Thor, because
same.
people in the Germanic people saw thunder and lightning, so they created. His name wasn't originally Thor; it was something else, and then it became Thor when the Norse. But they then created their own version of a thunder and lightning god. And the people in Nigeria, they saw thunder and lightning as well, and so they created their own god. You know,
Yep.
everybody.
Igbos. We have it's Amadioha.
Who is that?
That's the basically the thunder. It's a thunder, I think, also war god in Igbo spirituality. Like the ancient Igbos, before they got colonized, that was like that's some of their deity would be Amadioha for the sky. Some parts of the eastern region will they kind of like how Canaan and Israel merged Yahweh and El. They do merge the god of the sun, forgot that name. Anyawu is the god of the sun, and then the sky god, the thunder and lightning god is Amadioha. But some regions they just merge them both together.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all it is. We can create our own religion right now.
sure can.
Shit, that's basically what the show. Remember the show American Gods?
I never caught it. I never caught it.
Oh man, you got to watch season one up until once they got rid of Anansi. When they got rid of Anansi, I stopped watching. But it in the first season, you see how they talk about how gods are created based on people's belief, and the strength of that god is based on how many people believe in that god, right? Uh, and there was one scene that you would like with Oestra, who is like I forget which religion it is, but she's the goddess of fertility, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a druid god of fertility, and hers is Easter, springtime. But she still thinks she's the God they're worshiping, but they're on her compound. There's like 11 different versions of Jesus. There's like a Mexican Jesus, Black Jesus, the Orthodox Jesus, the Catholic Jesus, like all these different variations of Jesus. And so they show how like there's so many different versions of Jesus, right? And but even the new gods are the gods like technology and stuff all like that. So they're fighting against the new gods because the old gods, being led by Woden or Odin, wants to reestablish the old gods. But once they got rid of Anansi, because of them speeches that my man was making for black people, they was like, nah, we don't want black people thinking like you saying this stuff. They had to get rid of my man there. They had to get rid of him, so I stopped watching him after that.
But they were gods of America or planets?
Well, they show how the old world gods got to America. Like Anansi came across with the slave ships. Woden came across with the Vikings when they first came to the Americas. Sheba came across with the slave ships. They really didn't show her, but then how she got here. But then the Egyptian gods of Anubis and Thoth came across. So they show a little bit of, they show how some of the gods came across, but they give you the idea that as people came to the Americas, they brought their gods with them. Like the little leprechaun dude, they show how they brought him. Well, he ain't little, he's big as hell. But they show how they brought him over. And the Russians brought their gods over. Who that dude, he be beating some ass with the hammer. But that's how it, and if you think deeper into it, that's how it all worked. America becomes this mixture of different gods with different people, and they've incorporated these different gods based on the culture and how it's developed. Right? And the guys who don't have as many people worshiping them, they're all poor and shit. Not for real. They poor.
That makes sense, because I've read in history where they said the reason that these gods, especially in that area, that Levant, where it just was the reason that the gods became big is just by popularity. So if Yahweh, I guess, at one point in that region got so popular that he got to the popularity that God got to the popularity of whatever Baal and El was at that time, to where the popularity got so much to where Yahweh overtakes whoever's supposed or becomes who's supposed to be the creator God, which we know Yahweh is not a creator.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really, I wouldn't say popularity, I would say kingdoms, empires. Whoever forced their way to conquer other people, that's how that God developed and got bigger. So like like Yahweh starts out as a Canaanite God who is the child of El and
Asherah.
Asher, thank you. El and Asher. But then as after the Bronze Age collapsed and they're able to establish kingdom, they start to merge El and Yahweh together. But then as they go through the Babylonian captivity, they then get rid of Asherah because now they're under the Zoroastrians, and they start seeing how Ahura Mazda is the singular God and Agramenia is his devil. And so in third and second century, they start developing more into a monotheistic one, and they get rid of Asherah and just turn her into a pole. So it's like the religion keeps changing based on who's ever in the greatest power. So it's more about power than it is about popularity. Of course, when the Romans did it, they forced everybody.
Yeah. They got everybody in line with the Christianity.
Yeah, so that's how that works. But man, let me let Vincent come back up here one more time before I get the hell off here.
No doubt, brother.
It's my feeding time is coming up.
Right, hey, gotta feed the hangry beast, bro.
You gotta feed the beast.
All right, bro. Hey, good talk to you. Good topic too, man. I'll catch up with you, bro.
Okay, yeah, and after Vincent, if Christ absolute is still there, I'll bring you up too, and then I'm gonna be done. So I'm gonna make Vincent short since he might got his stuff together.
You really gonna let me kill it? Oh,
Man,
y'all ain't supposed
it's
to see that. Hold on. Y'all ain't supposed to see that. Hold on. I'm tripping.
no, I like it. It's been 3 hours and 30 minutes. My hunger pains
Mhm.
start kicking in, and
Look,
so
look. I am Groot. You see it? Can't wait.
yeah, I
I
see
am
it.
Groot. I
Let's
am
see
Groot.
Kali. Let's see Kali again.
Oh,
That's,
see, Kali. There you go, Kali.
there you go.
Y'all don't even know what that means. Y'all look at that picture. Y'all ain't even understand that.
No,
It's
they
gonna go
know.
over your head.
Actually, we
No,
got a
I know
push.
you know. I know you know. But it's gonna
No,
go
I'm
over
saying
everybody else's head.
no in the chat. See, we have a Kush in the chat, and Kush has kept us very much educated on the Hindu gods.
Yeah, but
So
you know, it's simple. This, you know,
we
that
got
picture's
we
symbolism.
got folk. We got folk. Yeah, no, my
But look,
ZX14.
this is something. This is something y'all need to read. Yahweh and the
Oh,
Canaanite
Yahweh and
tribes.
the gods of the gods and gods of Canaan. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
they
never
need
read
to.
that.
Hmm?
Yeah, breakdown. I've never read that, but if it's a good breakdown on all the different the pantheon of Yahweh.
You know it is. You know it is. I told you once that fire lit, I went down the rabbit hole.
And you should. Instead of
Yeah.
just basing your stuff on belief, it's better to research things to find out for yourself.
And then
And
you said something earlier. You said something earlier. This book right here, Voodoo book.
uh-huh. Secrets
It
of
talks
Voodoo.
about how they priests create the gods.
Yeah. That's all that ever happens is priests create God. I can create a God right now. I'm gonna create a cigar God.
And truth is you can. You can create whatever you want with your mind. Your mind is very powerful. You gotta realize you got the power within yourself. So you gonna depend on some. Let me see. The Levant was 2025. So like 2025 years ago, a world that you never lived in. You don't have the ideology of living how they live and how they operate, but you want to function on a level in 2025. They didn't predict airplanes. They didn't predict trains. They didn't predict none of the shit that's going on now. So what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. They believe that God will confuse the language and destroy your building if y'all made it too high, but yet we got skyscrapers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a very it's but you know what it is we get it at such a young age usually, and then we respect our parents and our grandparents and grandparents and
Mhm.
grandparents. So we just follow this fuckery. But it is what it is. Like Like I tell you, well, I'm in LA. Like it's goofy. I didn't seen gangbangers and fucking gangbanging picnics, fucking praying.
They all believe in this God, yet they all go and don't live that
But they
life.
still do the bullshit.
Yep. Hypocrites. All people in general are hypocrites towards what they claim they believe in. Right. Uh, if you're gonna believe something, then live that life and stop living a hypocritical life. So I'm with you. But man, I've been on here 3 times, so I'm gonna cut you short
I
on
know, I
this.
know, I know. My shit's raggedy.
I want
It
to
was
hit
the
this.
Bluetooth. The Bluetooth kicked in and that's why I messed up last time.
Yeah, I want to hit this other person before I get hangry, and then
All
I'm
right,
done.
man. I feel you.
But I go live 12 noon Eastern
I
Standard
know, I
Time.
know, I know you. I've been following you for a minute. You see if
Okay,
you see my little decal. I've been on this thing for a while. I
okay,
rock with
appreciate
you.
it. All right, thanks.
I appreciate you too, man. I learned a lot from you.
Appreciate it, Vince.
All right, coach.
All right, let's go over to TikTok real quick. See if we can have a good discussion before I get the hell on. how that Joker gonna do? Now he want to sit up and make all his little comments, but then he want to run. I know she did this by accident, but I'm gonna bring it up just because she did it by accident. Thought we was gonna have. I thought I was gonna have Christ of absolute reign. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right.
I just want to ask, did you see my little notes I was putting in there about the different movies that represent Jesus Christ?
Oh, you mean you came up on purpose? Oh, hell. So I did see your comment, and so I'm glad you did come on. I didn't see the last Terminator movie, so you were saying that in the last Terminator movie, they made the Terminator the Messiah?
They made a new Terminator that came back to save John Connor, the child.
I thought they already did that.
He's still the child. Yeah, he came back to save the mama. I'm sorry. He came back to save the mama that was pregnant with the child, because they kept going back in time every time Brother Beck trying to kill him before he became the Messiah.
Okay, I got after like the second one, I stopped watching the Terminator. I think it was the second one was the last one I saw.
So fight yourself. The new reborn one fights the old one. The old one is the one that turns into silver metal, the liquid metal.
Okay, I saw the liquid metal dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw how they brought the original Terminator to come back and fight him, and then he sacrificed himself. Yeah.
Put the Terminator face, back on him, and then the other new reborn one had the same exact face. They still looked like each other, fighting each other to save the mama before she had a baby.
Oh, the same. Okay, I ain't see that one. I don't think I seen that one. Yeah, it's too many of them damn Terminators. I didn't know they did that.
Yep.
You gonna make me go watch a damn Terminator movie?
What I said, what that movie name? What was it? Neo in the what's the name of the movie?
Oh, The Matrix.
The Matrix, yeah.
Oh,
he is the new Messiah.
Yeah.
One that after he got woke and can do all the the tricks and go back in time and fight and do all that magical stuff.
But let me throw this at you. The prophecy in the movie Matrix doesn't actually apply to Neo. It applies to Mr. Smith. Let me tell you why. Remember the part
actually becomes Mr. Smith too.
But you remember the prophecy said that the one will be able to change the matrix to however he desires to change it. And if you remember, Smith is the one who ultimately changed the matrix into what he wanted it to be by making everybody become Smiths.
Right.
Now, Neo does destroy Smith, sort of, but I think Smith was more of the fulfilled that prophecy more so than Neo did. Just think about the movie and how the prophecy was that he's supposed to be. He was born inside the matrix, and he would change it however he wanted to. I think Neo was just like maybe a scapegoat for the matrix, whereas Smith was the one who was actually born in the matrix and changed it to be what he wanted it to be.
Right. They could make the food taste like what they wanted to taste like.
Yeah. It's a good little philosophical, what I'm saying, thought experiment.
Yeah, and another FYI, the movies was based on a book that a person of color wrote, and they stole that. If you knew about it, they stole that information, and she sued them and actually won in court.
Yep, I saw it. It took her a while, but she got her money.
Yeah.
Yeah, she finally got paid for that. She should have.
What was her name again?
Oh, her name I don't remember because I remember seeing that a long time ago.
But I'm not positive.
No, it's not her.
It's not her.
It's not.
Because I tried to look it up, and they kept bringing up a guy saying because he wrote the screenplay, but he didn't like the book.
Yeah, I don't remember her exact name.
Yeah, Shonda does Grey's Anatomy and some other stuff.
Hold on. I bet you I can find it. Oh shit. But there's been multiple lawsuits. Sophia Stewart. She claimed that she had the concept of the Matrix and Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh no!
That's why I was relating both of them to each other in my notes.
Actually, according to this, she didn't win her case.
Well, she saw some show and said she did. She said she did. So
No, and it was dismissed in 2014.
I don't know if it was Sherry Shepherd. I don't think it was Oprah. Maybe Sherry Shepherd or somebody, one of those new ladies that have a talk show. She was on one of their talk shows.
Yeah.
And she said she won.
I'm just according to what I see.
They probably knowing they took her back to court and then she ended up losing.
Hold on, according to PolitiFacts, she didn't actually win that, but it's been a popular story that she did win against Joel Silver. But according to PolitiFacts, and PolitiFacts usually get their stuff right. It's like, I mean, that's their whole thing, is bringing out the actual stuff.
Well, unless they had a double or somebody else pretending to be her, she said she won. So
now I wouldn't be surprised if there was some money just paid off in the back room.
that too.
I mean, you know, that's how them lawsuits be going there. Like they'll say, okay, you didn't win, but there was a undisclosed payment that was made just for them to go ahead, and so they'll dismiss the case, so they don't say that she won, but she got some money. That way, you know, that hush money. Like, okay, we gonna give you 200 million, but you're gonna hush it up. We're gonna say that the court, we're gonna let the case get dismissed, but you got this backroom deal. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened at all. But look here, lady, I'm gonna get off here because I'm hungry.
Okay, they're talking to you.
Yeah, gonna be looking forward to seeing you in about a week and a half.
Not this coming weekend, but next weekend.
Yep, not this weekend, but next weekend. So you should have been here this weekend. Me and my wife went to this gala. Let me tell you, I had told this lady who was 76, 77 years old, I had told her, I said, girl, I'm gonna be dancing with you. When I tell you, I thought maybe we're gonna be doing a little two-step. That woman wore me out. That 70-something-year-old lady she was moving so damn good and had such big movements. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, when I took that two-step, that Houston two-step class, it was more older, a lot more older ladies than me. I'm old too now. You may think I'm that picture about what, 10, 15 years old.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually 54 years old.
Oh, I'm 54 too. But that 70-something-year-old lady?
64.
Oh, you 64. Oh, okay. Let me tell you, that 70-something-year-old lady, little Spanish lady, she was moving so damn fast and doing this little Latin dance. I had to try to keep up with it. She wore me out. I had to go take a break. But I look forward to seeing you and meeting you in person. All right. Bye. Yeah, I talked cash money shit about how I'm gonna dance Sophia until I was scared I was gonna break her hip. That lady was moving. Don't let the age fool you. Opie put it on me this weekend. Thank you for the what's up. What up? What's up? Appreciate it. So that is going to do it for today's show. I have no idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I had an idea, but I forgot. I know what I wanted to talk about, but I forgot what it was, and I didn't write it down. But I'm pretty sure between now and then, I'll probably remember. But as a gentle reminder, you can still call the hotel, which is in the description of the YouTube and Facebook version of this live. You can still call the hotel and reserve your room for October 31st through November 2nd. My wife is making me dress up in Halloween gear on that Friday night meetup at Devil's River Distillery. So y'all, if you want to wear a costume, bring your costume. Because we're going to be wearing that costume whether y'all like it or not. We might be the only ones. Well, we won't be the only one because San Antonio, them jokers been wearing costumes since October 1st. So I look forward to it, and we're gonna have a great time. So call the hotel, tell them you want to be a part of the Thinkers group for October 31st through November 2nd. So y'all have a great day. And always remember that you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration, and please continue to share all the videos. And thank you to all the members and everything else. Deuces. Oh yeah, and I might have to hit the button.